I like how you put that. He's going to try and stream. Yeah, we're gonna try and stream. In fact, here we are at only 5 minutes since I started the stream. Since that person, the operator, was asking how long it takes to start, we'll just go ahead and get started now, I guess. But guys, I'm still trying to get, oh shit, my light's off. Hang on. I am still trying to get all my thoughts collected here due to the fact that I tried to get a video recorded right before the stream, which I never do on Wednesdays, but because I didn't get a video done last night, I kind of had to double up tonight, so it's kind of a shit show over here. Friday night tight vibes. No way, dude. Peer pressured to stream early. Yeah, man, pretty much. Well, it's also the fact... It's also the fact that... No, 19 people here to stream. Dude, they're probably here to yell at me. I'm still too mind-fucked over Marathon. No, man. No, Marathon is... Oh, God, there's so much there. All right, so guys... Before we get started, because honestly, Marathon is the thing we're going to talk about at the very least. Marathon, honestly, we're going to talk about at the end. But the Sony PlayStation stuff is crazy. Hang on one sec. There was an article I saw that I wanted to bring up here. Oh, no, it wasn't an article. That's what it was. Okay. So people are losing their minds. Apparently, SkillUp, who I don't watch, reviewed Marathon, and people are losing their shit over it. So maybe we'll pull that up on stream later. Okay, it was from 1 day ago. Says so far I'm not feeling it. We will save that for later on, because people are genuinely losing their minds over it. It's crazy. Marathon's an acquired taste. It certainly is. There's no question there. I should probably turn that down a little bit. And epilepsy's a core gap. No, honestly, I joke about the whole epilepsy thing, but then we saw that website for Marathon that genuinely was flashing, and I'm like, dude, somebody's gonna stroke out. It's crazy. All right, so guys, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. DB Wild is not here currently, I don't think, but he is the one that made the intro song for the channel for my Monday streams. Yeah, he's not in the chats. One of the moderators here, he does a lot of work behind the scenes, and he actually did this, let me pull this up here. He did this image that I've got here. I don't know if he shared it on Discord or not. I think he did. I edited it to put World's Best Boss here on the mug. But on the website, I'm actually getting some of the stuff I've been talking about for a while, like the loose leaf tea and all that. I finally got my YouTube channel, my main one, the one we're streaming on right now, linked to my Shopify account. So now, once I actually go back and edit all my merch and actually do something that's worth buying, which is going to take me a little while, obviously, that'll be something that'll be popping up on the YouTube channel. So that's just something I've been working on top of everything else I'm doing. So that's just, I wanted to give you guys a little update. Of course, when I have time for articles, all the articles that I do and stuff will be on here as well. But that's taking kind of a backseat due to not having a whole lot of free time. So that's just kind of where I'm at with all that. And I forgot Smeg. Smeg dropped 5 gifted before the stream started, so much appreciated, Smeg. I built a sweet PC setup, Madx with a 7700X with RX. Oh, the 9060, that's what I got, man. And my friends hate it. What? No, dude, that's awesome. I've got the 240 AIO. That's what I've got. No, mine's a 360. Yeah, I got the 360. I got the 9060 XT with the 16 gigs. Mine's the Ryzen 9 5590, 5900, one of those. Can't remember which one it is. Dude, Avernum, Marathon was giving me a headache to play. I get not everybody's going to be affected by it, but for me personally, it wasn't much fun to play. So, that being said, guys, welcome in. Hopefully the stream doesn't crap out tonight. I'm really hoping that was just a weird combination of factors, really. Yeah. Don't talk back regarding our corporate overlord. They'll censor your chat. Oh, Oblivion said, it's too bad YouTube doesn't have the amount of controls the Discord, which have. YouTube would make changes no one wants. Heard the Burnt Peanut gave a shitty take on Marathon and people to not shit on the games just coming out to release. I think he got the call. Well, he actually got paid, as I understand. Some sort of sponsorship or something, I guess. I don't know if it was an actual paid sponsorship or it was just the fact that he got to play the game early. You know, it sucks. You hate to see it, especially for people who actually enjoy. Hang on, what is this? Oh, this was the initial one that I saw. Okay, that's where it came from. Y'all, I should have just not bothered making a video. I should have been better prepared for a stream. But it is what it is. It wouldn't be one of my streams if things weren't dysfunctional as hell, right? Things aren't refreshing, though. What is going on? Okay, there it is. Got it. You got suspended for a week? What did you do? No, Mahendra, we're just getting started. Welcome in. I declare bankruptcy! Dude, why did it do that alert? It's supposed to do the other one.
Acting the way your old camera used to behave. Might have to do the same old trick.
Oh, what, the tapping it thing? Yo, Smeg, I had it all set up to where I was supposed to have 2 different alerts for 2 different amounts. You got the default $2 one. Oh, maybe it's because your Australian money isn't worth as much as American money. That's probably what it is. But hey, thanks for the 5, buddy. Appreciate you. Maybe your streams are acting the way your old camera used to behave. See, I never used to smack the old camera. It was simply a pushing the shutter button halfway just to get it to focus. That was it. Buffering intermittently. Oh, good. They don't like the case. A John's Bow 320 with an orange-black theme. Ooh. I mean, I might like that. Let me look that up. Hang on a second. So I'm buffering, you say. That's good to know. Everyone, brace for impact. The stream is going to crap out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Y'all, I swear to God. It might be a very long year if that's what's going to keep happening. Keep the webcam hand strong. Yeah, exactly. Dude, that's like something that DB Wild would be saying. You're filling in for him right now, huh? All right, so it's John's Bow. Let me see. Z20. Oh, that thing's cool, man. That's pretty legit, not gonna lie. That's a nice little mini case. What's wrong with that? Dude, that's awesome. If I wasn't buffering, you'd be concerned. Hell yeah. That is a really cool case. I love the little carry handle. That's awesome. All right, guys. So, we got to talk about the Concord verse, okay? Now, what I'm probably going to start doing is closing tabs. Hang on. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start closing out of my tabs as I go through them, as to not overwhelm my computer. My money's worth almost the same as the Canadian dollar. We're moving up in the world.
My money is worth almost the same.
Oh my God,
Canadian
man.
dollar. We're moving up in the world, or down. Let's be honest, it's just shite.
Dude, honestly, I would rather Australia be my neighbor than Canada, all right? I like Australians better. I have the same color and they say it looks like mud? That's crazy, man. They muted your comments? What comment? Who did? Are we talking about Highguard? Wagon Burner, I didn't see your comment, man. But thanks again for the 5, Smeg. You're awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna close out of these tabs as we're going, just to try to take the load off my computer. Giggity. That's what she said. Oh my God, I forgot. Okay, hang on. I do have a couple marathon posts that I haven't put in a video that I want to pull up here. Anyways, as I was saying, I probably should have not bothered with the video because sometimes it messes with the algorithm to the point where I'll actually lose subscribers when I do a video and a live stream the same night. It's insane. Oh God, there's a lot of Crimson Desert stuff, but I just don't want to get into Crimson Desert. I really don't. I emailed Pearl Abyss to try to secure a review copy. I know that we're kind of 2 weeks out at this point, so it might be a little late. Channel's not exactly the size of something like Digital Foundry, obviously, so who knows? I explained what happened, but it didn't show on YouTube. Oh man, that sucks. Shift escape and open, or an Opera opens up an internal task manager. You can nuke tabs from memory you don't need without closing them. Oh, interesting. My X timeline's cooked. It's all ponies. No way, man. For real? Oh, are they mad? What did I say that was that bad, dude? Or you mean the timeline that I'm on? I mean, that's all I'm seeing for sure. Yeah, no, I don't have a whole bunch of angry ponies on my timeline, but that's all I'm seeing right now. It's insane, dude. That and the Highguard coping is insane. It's absolutely nuts. Hey, Lugia. Dude, it's crazy. All right, so let's get rid of that. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. No, I put in a request for a review key. I don't even know if I got the right person, to be honest. We'll see. I don't know. We will see. He'll message you on Discord to tell me how you got suspended. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm always curious when that shit happens. It's weird how our dollars vary so much relative to each other. Dude, none of our money's worth anything. Am I ashamed of cuck porn? God. No, it's called I don't want to show things out of order, and so I don't want to have like my dirty laundry sitting on the back side over here where I'm trying to sort through it in front of you guys. I try to be more professional than that. That's why I keep switching away. Trust me, there is nothing on this computer that if anybody came in from outside that they would find that I would be embarrassed about. Politics, hentai, memes, and God. As an old Sega fan, it brings me joy to watch them swirl down the drain and see their fanboys cry in pain. Dude, I'm not even like... I don't hate PlayStation. I don't hate PlayStation. I don't hate Sony necessarily. I don't hate people who enjoy playing on their PlayStation. And if you enjoy your PlayStation games, I don't mind. I don't care. A couple months I got fed all those pony accounts was turning into Cassie. Equilibrium, I have had the black Twitter timeline and the transgender Twitter timeline feed before, okay? It doesn't get worse than either one of those. Black Twitter and trans Twitter, no. That's about the worst, okay? You get 141, then minus YouTube cut and tax for...
You get $1.41, then minus YT cut and tax for dis.
At this point, I want to know how much YouTube's taken out of that. Oh, Smeg, thanks, buddy. Prepare yourself for the Destiny fanboys tomorrow. The marathon rage will be strong. Well, it's crazy, Black Cat, because a lot of the Destiny fans are mad at Marathon because they feel like they've been abandoned by Bungie. So it's really weird. Black Twitter has my bike stolen. No, it's one of those times. Okay, so somebody will post some rage bait, some race baiting or whatever about all white people or all black people or this or that, whatever. And if you respond to it, then all of a sudden that's your entire feed. It's the same way where if in the middle of like my gaming related news, some Twitch thought wants to, post a picture of herself in spandex bent over and I call her a hoe, then for the next day and a half what I get my timeline is chicks just like that. I'm like, no. I don't want to see that. But whatever. All right, so Equilibrium tagged me in this the other day, the Concordian timeline as it's been adjusted. So I know Smeg, we were talking in the comments on my video about Fair Games. Fair Games will be canceled. We can still call it Concord 4, depending on how Marathon goes. If Marathon doesn't flop, it'll be Concord. Fair Games will be Concord 3, but Fair Games is never going to release into the wild. So if it's, ever released or not, it'll still be Concord 3 or 4. With Horizon Hunters Gathering rounding out the 5 spot there. Should add 2026 for what? Marathon's actually a number right now on Steam sales. I don't personally like it, but I don't think it's DOA. Probably will make profit. Yeah, so Asmongold's Roach, I've said before that I think it will do okay. I estimated too high. I thought it would hit 100,000 concurrent players on the first day of launch on Steam. I don't think it's going to hit that. The playtest couldn't hit 200,000 players on a free open playtest, where a lot of us who had no intention of buying the game I played it. It's not like where these people play one round and then downvote something and say, oh, this game sucks. I played Marathon for a few hours, okay? Should be changed to 2026 with 3 question marks, yeah. Hey, Gikazu. But do I think Marathon is going to be the thing that turns Bungie around and redeems them after all the years where it's been like stringing Destiny fans along? No, I don't think so. Oh, Fair Games. Fair Games, we haven't even gotten a gameplay trailer. I don't think they even have gameplay, guys. The game's been in development for 5 years, and apparently behind the scenes, it's a mess. I see some posts with bad grammar and Kaisenet ISO speed gifs arguing with chibi reviews. Oh my god. Dude, I stay out of the whole chibi reviews thing, okay? I don't hate the guy. I get it. He went through a rough patch. The girlfriend cheated on him, fiance, whatever. He has some weird takes. People think he's a Nazi. I think he's way too effeminate to be a Nazi. I don't know. The whole chibi thing, I'd rather just stay out of the entire thing. It's just like, I have no take on it. So yeah, I pointed this out in my video. Jeff Keighley finally coming out and at least participating in some of the acknowledgement for the failure of Highguard. Of course, I was inspired today, a little too late. Chibi's just a perv. I kind of get, I don't want to say that, but I kind of get that vibe, dude. Bankruptcy! Concordian's real.
Yes, Concordian is real. Lol, tears of joy.
Dude, Concordian is now an actual term. And it will be for the end of time. Until all of us are dead and gone and nobody knows what Concord was, Concordian will be the new term for everything. Girl cheating, Ben there, got the t-shirt. I got cheated on by a girl that I had a long distance relationship with that I met one time. And I was supposed to fly out there and meet her in Minnesota. So I met her at my brother's wedding in Wisconsin when I was like 20. And we started talking after hanging out at the wedding. And we were in a long distance relationship for a couple months leading up to I was going to fly back out there and, you know, spend a couple days with her, spend the week with her, whatever. And along the way, things got weird. She was Korean, so she was crazy, man. It's a very nice meme. No homo. Dude, it's a great meme. When I get inspired, I make the best memes. I'm not going to lie. But long story short, she ended up screwing around with some guy and then wanted to ghost me, so I didn't bother flying out there. Oh, no, Geek. She knows. She knows. This was a couple of years before her and I started even dating. Can't wait for Concord 7, brought to you by the devs of Bright You Titanfall 2. I don't remember that line from Holy Grail. I've only seen Holy Grail a few times. Oh, just seeing the meme on Baltimort's stream was pure gold. Dude, it popped up twice. I was watching his stream yesterday because there was just nothing else that I was interested in watching, so I popped up Asmongold's stream. And sure enough, there's Kermit's naked ass twice on Asmongold's stream. I'm like, damn, man. Not once, but twice did he have to look at that. They don't like that we talk about previous adventures. Oh, man, that was nothing, though. We hung out for a couple hours at my brother's wedding. I got a kiss, at the end of the night. He gave her my number, and within about 6 weeks, I knew that she was psychotic. Yo, Cage, I'm the wind between your cheeks, huh? The Concordian Saga equals all Sony Western live service games. Yeah, really, that's what it comes down to, is it's not really, all Sony games, because, look, I'm not a big... I have no use for the God of War franchise. I don't care. I never played them. I didn't own a PlayStation, so I do not care what happens with that franchise. But a lot of people loved them. Same with the Horizon games for whatever reason. It's really the live service games where it's been a big issue for them. More Concord sequels before GTA 6, right? So anyways, going on here, we have articles like this from Morgan Park, of all people. The man at PC Gamer with the absolute shittiest opinions. If you go back and look at Morgan Park and you look at the games that he has shilled for, that he has defended, we're talking games like Suicide Squad, games like Dragon Age Velguard. Basically, it's all the games that people would crap on. He was always sticking up for, talking about how great they are. Concord is between... God. I don't want Concord between my cheeks. Thank you very much. It's funny how live service games die faster than any other, a bit ironic. Well, that's for a reason. So, again, my video that I just put out, part of the thing is people saying it's all live service fatigue. I take a little bit of issue with that because live service fatigue implies that, in my mind, that people are fatigued by games that necessarily market themselves as live service, not that also happen to be live service. For me, I think it's more of the coincidence for people than it is that they dislike it specifically because it's live service. Sure, there is a large percentage of people that are going to be like, I don't want to play something that always has to be online. Well, guess what? Even single player games these days always have to be online. So I think it's more of a symptom of studios and publishers going ham, trying to make too many live service games, and people just being like, Like we looked at Highguard when it first aired at the Game Awards, and we're like, what the hell is this, right? It's very good, McKinney. How are you doing, bud? Buffering and Legoing. Wait, I'm buffering again? Morgan should be cherished. I don't know if Morgan's a he, that are they, them, or not. I don't know. Let's see. Who is... As long as the microphone shuts off once a stream and everything else is good, that is a perfect stream for us, guys. That's perfect, okay? Anything beyond that, we have real issues. But, yeah, where are we at? 26 minutes? It always happens around this time point. Yay, DB Wild is back. Yo, DB, I got to show you real quick. Since you are back, I'm going to show you. I went ahead and used your image on my website. The one that I edited with the world's best boss mug here. So when you go to my website now, when it pops up, you actually see that image that you made. Let me bring this back up here. So that's the background image there. So pretty cool, huh? I'm actually really, really stoked about this one, man. A lot of times AI just doesn't do reality justice, and I think you kind of nailed it with that one. So that one's pretty cool. Say the alphabet backwards. I have never been able to do that. Yes, in fact, you can see it. You can see it right here. We are on live chat. Dude, I'm a little behind, but I'm not fully behind tonight. Level of quality we expect and level of quality we wish for, they're never the same. All right. Highguard was not a dead game, it's being murdered. I think this is the perfect amount of cope to start with, right? I mean, this is beautiful. Wildlight announced today the Highguard's shutting down. Servers will go offline just 45 days after they went online, cementing the 3v3 raid shooter as another live service boondoggle. Oh boy. I won't relitigate? What does relitigate mean? You're not that slow? I'm a little slow. What the hell is relitigate? The noxious cloud of internet that surrounded Highguard, because ultimately premature hate playing is not the reason it's going away. Oh, look! They're even admitting it! They're finally admitting that it's not the hate that killed the game, it's the game sucked. Re-argue? Okay. I heard the word litigate in there. I'm like, okay, maybe that's what it was. Have you ever looked at your memory processes when you stream? I swear it seems like something's turning itself off and on your memory that's causing the problems. I mean, I could pull that up and look, but to be honest, I think I've just got too much shit going on. Like, we're streaming to 5 different places. I've got all these tabs open, and I'm using Brave Browser, and it's way, way better on the CPU usage than Chrome. I couldn't... If I was using Chrome right now, the stream wouldn't be working. Nothing on my computer would be happening. But I think it's just the amount of processes and shit that I've got going on. I could try closing out. I could... Let's see. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. And I don't know how much that'll actually make a difference, but we'll see. I don't have those on my computer. Thank you. Thank you very much. Has to be an AI article. No human being writes like this without trying to be the posh bastard just to annoy the reader. It's the way it kind of reads, right? Yeah, I was thinking it was a legal term with the word litigate in there, but like, what is litigate? That's a weird... Close the hentai puzzle game. You stop. Why would there be a hentai puzzle game? Would it be like... never mind. I'm not going to get into it. All right. It's important to establish that Highguard had fans. Thousands of people were playing it. All right. We're going to fact check this in real time. We're going to fact check this shit in real time. Can you believe that I'm talking about Highguard without having the Steam charts brought up? Now, I do think it's important. I do think it is important that recently, one of the developers who also has me blocked on Twitter, I never interacted with him. Apparently, he doesn't like the fact that I was shitting on his game, so he blocked me. That they said the primary player base for Highguard believe it or not, was PlayStation, right? Crazy. Crazy that the most people, 2 million people showed up. And most of them were on PlayStation. So when we look at the numbers on Steam, according to this dude, now it's convenient because they don't have to tell us the actual numbers and prove it on PlayStation. We can see the numbers on Steam. So if he's like, well, actually, it was PlayStation, then Xbox, then Steam, you go, okay. Yo, truth. It's easy for them to say, well, yeah, come on. We had way more players on PlayStation. You believe us, right? Sony ponies love their slop drafts. You're not wrong. Yeah, PlayStation's got no games. So now we are seeing a little resurgence in the game. You can see that the 24-hour peak has actually gone up since they announced the closure. Ironically, people are rushing back in to try to get their... Well, they put out this update, and so they're going to have like a skill tree. We were talking about this on Discord. Why would a 3v3 raid shooter, like a MOBA or a Rainbow Six type game, have a skill tree? Does Rainbow Six have a skill tree for your operators? I only played it for like maybe a week or two, but I don't recall having a skill tree for a raid or like a tactical shooter. If so, then why are they shutting it down? They're shutting it down because nobody's playing it, and because it's free to play, nobody's buying cosmetics. And Tencent said, okay, well, nobody showed up for this game. We're going to pull our funding. Rushing back in, all 600 of them. Well, again, that's all we can see is the 600 that were on Steam. If you're going to believe what the developers are saying, if the majority of people are playing on PlayStation, then what that means is that right now you might have like 1,000 PlayStation fanboys playing it. I don't know. LOL, live service games are not allowed to be popular. I think he means the game he wants to be good, that is live service isn't popular. Right. Yeah, even if you quadruple it, it's still not sustainable. Exactly. Hey, Matt Adam. 2 million showed up after 45 days. It's gone. Something's fishy here. Yeah, the Tencent money being gone is really the big issue. He said here, let me see. Remember, peak concurrents are not a measure of how many total people played a game that day. I think most of us understand that, right? Most of us get that. And it's gone, yeah. Wait, you're worrying me. You're not talking about the stream is gone. You're talking about the Tencent money's gone. One of you guys needs to have like a code word that the second my stream cuts out, you can just put that in the chat and I'll be like, fuck. Oh, man. Quake Live has more players than their live service. Dude, the Mongolian horse riding simulator, code words puzzle game. The Mongolian horse riding sim for all the horse girls, all 2,400 of them that played that game, yesterday when it came out, their concurrent peak was 2,400 players on Steam, has more players than Highguard. Marmaduke. Ooh, I like Eggplant. Let's do Eggplant. Which means not even the other platforms had enough platforms to justify its existence. Right. Exactly, H. Brown. So he says, for a brand new studio making its first game, I'd say that's pretty good. Oh my god. Highguard wasn't popular, but neither are dozens of multiplayer shooters that have stuck around for years. The pattern of games shutting down just days, weeks, or months after the debut is still a very recent ugly phenomenon. You guys... Snafu. Horse games also early access. Fubar. I love Fubar. Year of the Horse. Exactly. Crap, I should have had Discord brought up. I don't know where that tweet is that I sent you guys on Discord, but that dude... This retard on Twitter, straight up asking one of the developers or asking, who was he asking? I can't remember who he was talking to. Might have been talking to, I think it was one of the devs over at Wildlight. He was like, why don't you guys just keep the game going then? Look what No Man's Sky did. No Man's Sky turned the game around after a few years. You guys should just do that. And they're like, dude, we have no revenue. The game was free to play. We have no backing. It's the shutdown announcements post. Okay. He's like straight up, how are we supposed to keep a game going with no money? It's like, you freaking retard. How do you not understand this? These guys are working now for nothing because the game isn't making anything. Horse games are actually popular. God, Umasu. Oh my god, dude, that game. Yeah, No Man's Sky was a, what, $60 game at launch? Something like that? Burning 1 million a day and had 0 users. His next paragraph. To treat this like it's normal is to let the morons who make these calls off the hook. In this case, Tencent was reportedly Wildlight's biggest backer that immediately cut off funding when it wasn't a hit. It should be galactically embarrassing for these suits to display such a dearth of belief or awareness in what they were helping create. Oh my god, dude. Oh, at what point did these money men really think they were funding the next Apex Legends? Did they not hear the same pitch I did from Wildlight in January? It's an FPS centered around capture the flag that morphs into Rainbow Six light every 5 minutes. It has cool but obviously niche written all over it. It's on Wildlight 2, not the frontline developers who made a well-constructed FPS that, despite its complexity, played great. But the leadership that built a 100-plus person team on terms that had Highguard teetering over a cliff. You had your employees out there telling people like me that Highguard didn't need high player counts to be successful. Wildlight had plenty of runway because they knew that what they were making. I believe that they believed that. Well, then they're just retarded. Okay, then they're just morons. I mean, that... Futanari. No! God. Please, no. None of that. I don't want that. No. Y'all, I'm so sad. I restarted my Arc Raiders account. I did the expedition to get those extra 4 skill points plus bonus XP until like the next expedition. My guy is like, my guy's back to like level 5 or something, and I'm running around the map, and I realized after a second, I'm like, I can't even make like bandages or shield rechargers in the match because my guy doesn't have those skills yet. Oh my god. DB, I think that those are 2 different audiences for those 2 different types of horse games. They created crap, so they took the money away. I think that's called a shrewd business decision. You would think, Smeg. Okay, in no other industry do you see a perpetual amount of like companies like this spend hundreds of millions of dollars, totaling into the billions when you combine all these companies that go under or they have their games shut down, where anybody in the media goes, oh no, feel sorry for these people. Oh no, these are real people. They did the best they could, and they had passion, and they really tried to make something. You don't hear this about car manufacturers. You don't hear this about anything. Why is it that just video games, why is it just the games industry that you have these journalists waxing poetic all the time about how terrible it is for these developers? Like, you don't hear this in any other industry in the world. Now it's in my history bar. Why'd you look it up? Why, man? Why would you do that? Don't do it. Because the journalists are paid by these companies to exist? Maybe. Is chunky yogurt involved in the back? I don't think so. All right, so I'm zoomed out a little bit. Why do these developers get special treatment? I don't know. Contempt for the customer? Probably. You didn't know what it was. Anything with the word futa? Because they're shills. Anything with the word futa. Don't look up. Okay? I learned that one. Now, I didn't have to see images of it to figure out what it was. Thank God. I can give you a Twitter post by a CEO. I know who said it. I think I saw some posts like that recently. In politics, I hate it here. Only in entertainment this loud, but we're totally numb to it now. Yeah, it is. And maybe there's other parts of the entertainment industry. Maybe like you'll hear this from like the Screen Actors Guild. These kind of people who are like, the voice acting and acting in general, their stance against AI and everything else, right? Oh my God. Yeah. This live stream's not going to have live chat enabled. So anybody watching this stream after the fact, if I don't have to members only it, I'm sorry, but these degenerates are the reason that you guys don't get live chat afterwards, because my chat's full of futa and eggplants. Eggplant the size of Marmaduke. Good God. All right, so Jason McCord. I think Jason has me blocked. I think he's the one. Yeah, he's got me blocked. Says, this is our final update, and it's big. Props to the skeleton crew at Wildlight for wanting to finish it and ship it to our remaining players, even if it only gets played by a few thousand people. They weren't asked to. They asked if they could finish it up and get it out there. Do I have the actual... It's the one that I showed in my game, in my video. So here's what they're doing. That's why I read it. Yeah, that's why I read. Well, that's not the only reason I read them, dude. It's a personal pet peeve. Now, if you're talking Asmongold level streams where you can't keep up with the chat and you've got a lot to talk about, there'll be times where I don't, I'll read everything you guys write, but I won't say it all out loud. Either I'm trying to rest my voice or we're in the middle of like a tantrum about something or rant or whatever. But in general, I have a massive pet peeve with live streamers who do not actually interact with their audience. For me, it's like, what the hell's the point? Obviously, you get to an Asmongold level, those kind of guys, they can't. Their moderators have to grab things for them to react to, obviously. But especially if somebody super chats and you don't even acknowledge it, it's like, holy shit. I can't imagine ever getting to that point where you can't even acknowledge a super chat. It's insane, dude. So, the Farewell Tour, account progression and skill tree, a new warden and a weapon coming today. So that launched at 4 p.m. this time here. Do these developers think they're in an anime or something? Good question. It's also smart to not read everything we write. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I do have to question what you guys are thinking when you type in the chat. But dude, I'm the same way. I do the same shit in other people's chats also. Like Leon today, I was driving a little ways for work, not very far. Had to go pick up some stuff for work. And I'm listening to Leon, Words Paradise. And, the stream is just starting, and he said he's doing stuff on the back end, so he's a few minutes late. And then I mentioned doing things on the back end or whatever. Yeah. Why even bother with a skill tree or adding anything to a dead game? Here's the weirder thing about that. It's not just a skill tree. They literally say in here that you can get your account progression going from levels 0 to 100. And then there's also a skill tree with skill points. I don't understand. Okay. Am I off base, guys, or is it strange to have a PvP competitive MOBA style raid base rating tactical FPS game with heroes that then also implements a skill tree? That seems like a lot, right? Yeah, I mean, DB Wild, I thought it was fitting, right? Barely think while typing. Dude, I was up at 6:30 this morning because my dog was throwing up, okay? Otherwise, I would not have been up at 6. I don't know how you do it. Comments are a sign of peak intelligence. Yeah. Quartering reading all his super chats because he gets 0. Ouch. I haven't tried watching the Quartering in a long time, especially not like his live streams. I might catch one video in a very brief while because everything has been fast food and ice Karens in Minnesota, and it's like, oh my God, I just don't care. But it's kind of redundant. Not just redundant. I feel like it doesn't. No, he's not sick. I think he just, I don't know. He was hacking something up. Trying to get numbers up to justify keeping the game going. No, it's not a Hail Mary. The game is dead. These things don't. They don't come back from the dead, I don't think. We sell coffee. Well, I don't sell coffee. I do have tea now, guys. But the thing about the tea that I'm selling is I actually will put this into a bag myself because I'm going to do this at work. So anybody who buys tea from me on my website, this is coming from yours truly. So big difference. I've been in the food industry my entire life, whereas the Quartering has been in the food industry, but he's been on the consuming side of it. Where were we at? Okay, hang on. Farewell tour. Here we go. Quartering. No, I'm not going to be saying my channel's under attack. Dude, Equilibrium, do you know what he just did today? I swear to God, he popped up on my timeline on YouTube, and the Quartering's all like, IO Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers, and who else did he have on there? Drunk 3PO or Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, and somebody else, an apology. Yeah, the apology video. I'm like, you're apologizing for something that nobody knew about before the video? I mean, dude, come on. Dude. Critical Drinker, was that who it was? I swear to God, it's like, when there's no controversy, I have to apologize for a controversy that I've completely created in my head. It's embarrassing. He's lucky that the casino's out this week. Here's the thing I'll say about Kino Casino. I love that channels exist to roast people who are lolcows because it's entertainment, right? Even if it's not like highbrow entertainment, it's still entertainment. At the same time, the chubbier dude, the fat guy on Kino Casino, I don't know, he kind of gets on my nerves. Just drama farming, that's what it seems like. Oh, they knew about it. He'd been memeing him since he made a video about their channels failing. Is that why? Because here's the thing. The Quartering does this thing, not to go off on a side tangent, but we're already going there anyways. He always does this thing where he talks about how, well, I don't do culture war stuff anymore. And then a week later, he does like a Star Trek is woke video. It's like, that's culture war, dude. What are you talking about? I mean, he's opening Pokemon and Magic the Gathering cards on stream. Like, dude, you're never having kids. My God, that man, he keeps talking about how one day I'd like to start a family. You're like pushing 50, dude. I'm almost 40, and I can't imagine me or my wife trying to have kids at 50. Like, come on. Wasn't a proper apology since he backtracks? Well, that makes perfect sense. I'm listening to an audiobook and the drinker has a part. Oh, that's pretty cool. The Karen game. Oh, dude, the Karen game's stupid. Okay, the Karen game looks funny, but it's stupid. Stepfather had kids at 40, it's doable. Okay, but you also have to consider the health of the person who is trying to have kids. I would say that would be something to think about. My wife, if she hadn't had surgery that would prevent her from ever having kids again, her and I could absolutely have kids until we were in our 70s, but we started having kids in our 20s. It's different if you're starting in your 40s or 50s after never having kids. Yeah, it's a meme game, exactly. Is Philip DeFranco even still around? Okay, so they're adding a new warden. My God, guys, these are the most uninspired looking characters. Quartering has a wife. He's had a wife for a while. She's a PhD, master's, doctor. She worked in pharmaceuticals, I think, and now she's a stay-at-home wife, I guess. But she's a pilot. Yeah, he's had a kid, He's had a wife for years now. Philip DeFranco. More like a roommate. I'm not making any claims. I don't know. Hey, that's not a bad looking gun though. Props to them. That's a cool looking pump shotgun. Not gonna lie, that's pretty awesome. Looks like a Ninja Turtle ripoff, right? Exactly. Kata, great job adding stuff into the game that should have been there day one, a week before you shut the game down. Okay, here's one that I commented on earlier. And I didn't want to be super mean, but I'm like, okay, dude, really? If this is true, this guy's like, this is honestly devastating. Highguard hasn't even been out for a month, and you're already shutting it down. You didn't even give it a real chance to grow. I literally just spent over $200 supporting this game because I believed in it. Highguard is awesome. I'm like, dude, you need to make smarter investments. Holy crap. Looks like a proper Concord. Yeah, Oblivion. So I was like, my wife and I, we were both like, okay, I don't want to have kids before 25, and I don't want to have kids after 30. So we have to have our kids in that 5-year gap, that 5-year window, where even if we're not going to have the most money, we're going to be struggling financially. And I guess that never changed anymore. Yeah, whatever. That's, I guess, part of growing up is realizing when you have kids, you're always going to be in debt. But, no, I mean, I didn't want to be having kids in my 40s. I wanted to be able to enjoy them growing up while I was still relatively young. So now, guys, there's a combination of posts from the shutdown announcement on March 3rd, as well as this update for the game mode that they're adding today. And we're going to go through all the quote tweets that I found that I've been bookmarking for the last day and a half. And some of these are so insane, it's amazing, right? Already have 2 kids in a house, 34. Hell yeah, that's the way to do it. I'm renting my house. Lived in an apartment for 12 years, but that's due to other circumstances that I don't want to get into. Imagine spending $200 on a dead game just to spite those evil chuds. My God, dude. That when I shared the screenshots from the Highguard Discord where people are like, guys, if we all spent like $20 on skins, we could save this game. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, dude, I love Blink-182. CEO of Mickey D's eating a burger like his man. Dude, then the Burger King CEO goes in there looking like this old silver fox in the kitchen. He's just chomping down on this like Whopper or whatever. It's like, yeah. The dude from the McDonald's CEO looked like he was like eating like an insect burger or something. He looked like the kind of guy who'd be eating like a soy patty. The Wendy's CEO went hard. Yeah, but the burger looked really unappetizing. Like it was just like this weird dry looking bun with nothing on it. It's people? Maybe it's people. All right. So this guy, Avatar Yaya, who had previously This dude had previously been saying how bankruptcy.
Now guys.
Now guys entering your DSP arc as well.
Now,
Yo, I need to get some new DSP clips on the channel because there have been some beautiful ones. The one of him with the whole mustache thing, telling people he's going to ban them over the mustache being crooked, it was hilarious. Thanks for the 2, Smeg. You've not seen the Burger King thing? Dude, the man is... I'm not going to be like, you know, homo posting over some CEO of a fast food company, but he's like eating this burger like a boss, like a man, right? And the McDonald's dude, by comparison, he looked like he might as well have been using like a knife and a fork to eat this nasty little burger. Man's a lizard, pretty much. Marathon 6-year development cost plus massive marketing plus first year of operating servers and updates, $400 million minimum. I mean, people are saying, I've seen people saying 200 to 300 million. Revenue per copy, 28 USD, needs to sell close to 15 million. That's a lot. That's higher than the estimates I'm seeing. But again, I believe it. I just don't know because I'm not seeing anyone posting actual numbers. These are one of those things that we won't know. We won't know what the game costs to make until after it's, you know, no longer relevant, right? That's kind of the way it goes. I know it's all fake, but he slam dunked that shit. Yeah, exactly. PK, here's a chomp of our burger. All right, so this Avatar Yaya guy previously was glazing Highguard and then glazing Marathon. Basically, he was engagement farming, posting the same thing about it. But then he came out and posted this here. This is the worst feeling from live service game. This guy is not from the US, I guarantee it. Let me pull up this account. Hang on. He's got to be, let's see. No, in the US. Okay, all right. People don't even play games. They spread misinfo and copy Reddit X statements. I'll never forget the hole I felt from multiverses in my heart. Okay, so the first one here. Okay, this kills me. Every person that wished for this game's downfall is not a true gamer. This game didn't deserve this. I'll never forget you. I love you, Highguard. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, as we're going through all these, so that's... Okay, I don't know what you're saying. I assume Highguard was way below Concord, but it was probably more than 50 million. So, Serrano, what I'm seeing people saying is estimates of like 200 to 300 million. Not convinced Marathon will fail like Highguard, but it probably won't be... No, oh, dude, it won't even come close to touching Arc Raiders. It won't come close. Especially not at the same price tag. No way. Marathon is going to appeal. I've heard people compare it to Escape from Tarkov. I played both. I don't feel... I mean, Wise Ass Duck, you've played a lot of Tarkov. Is there anything about Marathon that looks or feels like Tarkov? To me, they don't feel anything alike. They feel like two completely separate games. Like nothing. I don't know. It means we'll know soon when it's irrelevant. Yeah, exactly. My friends played the game. They loved the game, but they had no desire to buy anything in game. Some of the sad posts had more likes than the game. Dude, Jeff Keighley came out and announced that Highguard was shutting down and got 81,000 likes on his post in 2 hours. And I'm like, 81,000 likes on Jeff Keighley's post about the game shutting down, but the game has less than 1,000 people playing it on Steam. Make that make sense. Highguard didn't spend their own money on marketing outside of the trailer slot at Game Awards that Tencent bought them. Oh, I was talking about, sorry, I was thinking Marathon when you said that. No, Highguard was probably way below Concord. Yeah. Highguard was probably 50 to 100 million. But again, you also have to consider the fact that they had a 100-person studio in offices in Bellevue and Los Angeles, Santa Monica, where the one in California was. It was either Redmond or Bellevue in Washington here, which is either way suburbs of Seattle and very expensive places to live. So they were burning through millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Not happening on other YouTube vids? I don't know, QC Jerk. Maybe it's happening to everyone else and they just expect my streams to be shit. Okay. Ramboski says, I will forever think this game would have thrived if it wasn't for the release day being so bad. The gameplay was so good. The release day had 97,000 players. What is this? They got 97,000 concurrent players on Steam. Haven't had any buffering yet. No, it's just going to shit out. It's going to crap out completely when it's time to go, guys. That's what it's going to do. What does this mean? If the release day wasn't so bad. My God. All right, so Marathon has 300 developers at a median of $127,000 a year salary. If you doubt the 400 mil figure, you really need to go look at the data. Oh, I'm not doubting it. I just haven't looked at it for myself. No, you very well could be accurate, could be correct. At this point, I'm just trying. I'm not going to throw hard numbers out there until I actually have real data to look at. It's fun to hypothesize and stuff, and you might be right on the money. I'm not doubting that you could be correct about that. I just don't know for sure. If it was an awful release day because it was a Monday, but I don't think that was what she means. Well, that's a dude. This is a guy. But yes, he's got a very, very nice head of hair, but he's a big fat boy. Either that or he's one of them fit fat that he's got like muscle hiding under a layer of fat. But either way, stupid take. Really stupid take. This guy here, though, this Danny AC, he has been cope posting non-stop. All right, was this one first? This was from March 4th. Okay, so we'll do them in order. So here you have his post on March 3rd when the game was announced that it was shutting down. This game could have gone crazy in the competitive scene. You guys remember that article we were talking about? It's based on Sony's public numbers and compliance with the SEC. I'm going to have to look into that later. Thanks for mentioning that, because I'll take a look at that. Tried Marathon out. I thought it was all right. And of all the Concords that has the most potential, yeah. JG, it's not... The actual game, Marathon's actual gameplay, the game itself is fine. For me personally, I've played so many first-person shooters, it doesn't scream to me like it's like head and shoulders better than anything else. But Highguard's gameplay was also fine as far as like the actual gunplay and stuff went. The movement and all that was fine. It just wasn't anything special to me. And then on top of that, I hated the look of the game, and I didn't like how bright and annoying all the colors were. Didn't like how nondescript the items were. The menus were a bit over the top and confusing. That's the whole thing. For me, the experience wasn't good. The gameplay part of Marathon I thought was fine. Totally fine. Had no problem with the actual gameplay itself. Simping for failed projects online for online social points. It's virtue signaling. It's 100% virtue signaling. These guys are talking about a free-to-play game that none of them spent any money on. I guarantee none of these guys spent a single dime in the shop. And here they can just try to gain clout on Twitter by acting like they actually care.
Even though near 100k PPL tried it, this game would have been a success if it didn't suck, and no one liked it. May as well have said that instead.
Smeg, they might as well have said that, but that's the problem is these guys don't want to admit it. They don't want to say it. They don't want to admit that the number one problem with the game is you got 1 million people in the first week to play it. They said it was like, it was 100,000 was the concurrent peak on Steam. And if you do the numbers where they say the majority played on PlayStation, and then the second largest majority was on Xbox, and then the rest played on Steam, you have to assume the first week the game was out, you had 1 million players. There's no way that if their numbers are correct, then it had to have happened. So, okay. He says, and thanks for the 5, Smeg. Appreciate you, dude. The word is called hubris. Yeah, they even mentioned that in one of those articles. People wanted the Concord 2 narrative for content so badly, it prevented the game from having even just a few thousand. I swear to God, I am so sick and tired of hearing this. These dudes are like, people shit on the game, so people didn't want to play the game. I'm sorry, okay. If I'm over here doing my thing and this person over here is saying that sucks, I'm going to be like, great, I'm enjoying myself over here. Why would I care what this person's saying if I'm enjoying myself over here? To say that me shitting on game equals person enjoying game no longer playing it, it doesn't make any sense. It's irrational. It's stupid. It's lazy behavior. What it means is these guys didn't want to support the game themselves, but they didn't want it to go away because they wanted to have a fallback, something to stream later on down the road. I saw one of these. I don't know if I bookmarked it. I don't know if we're going to be able to find it. Where this guy talked about how much he loved Highguard. Down in the comments, one of the guys is like, I noticed on all of your recent streams, you've been playing Apex Legends and not Highguard. And he's like, oh, I played Highguard off stream. Didn't see a single person on my Xbox friend list try. Exactly. Saw the vision for this game and it wasn't allowed to cook. There will never be another FPS like this game ever again. And it's a shame. It's not a shame. Totally get out of the department store. Yeah, you can't do that in public. Then he went on another one saying, all you canceled the wrong game. So we all canceled the game, guys. Collectively, those of us who just chose either to try it and say it sucked and we didn't like it, or people who didn't even know the game existed canceled the game. We canceled the wrong game, all right? I already thought the game had enough depth purely off gameplay, rotations, movement, base rating, defending, working as a team, and they just developed a skill tree for even more diversity in game. What an effing shame. If any devs read this, you guys made a great game, heads up. I'm going to argue back and say I don't understand the point of putting a skill tree into a hero shooter. That doesn't make any sense to me. Not saying Marathon's DOA, but it does have an uphill battle. Yes, 1000% agree with you there. Player counts are irrelevant? I disagree. I disagree on that. Player counts are going to matter, especially given the fact that unless you think the majority of Marathon players are on PlayStation, in which case we won't know the player counts. We're going to get into the Sony live service single player exclusive stuff here in a little bit once we get through the Highguard cope. But honestly, I think the only time visible player counts don't matter is if we're talking about console exclusives or where the majority of the people playing the game are on console. Why were there horses? Because the map was too big. Why was the map too big? Because they wanted a big open map, because they wanted to have crafting. Why did they want to have crafting? Because they wanted to cram too many different things into one game. It all comes down to poor conceptualization. It was basically, if you go back and listen to or read the interviews, this guy, one of the developers, I think it was Chad Grenier, wanted to say how basically before the game was even really created, they would sit down and every week they'd sit down and hammer out ideas. Somebody would throw another idea, they'd throw another idea. Basically, they were just throwing shit at the wall trying to see what would stick, you know? Yeah, the Game Awards absolutely helped get more people in there. Dude, I wouldn't have known about the game if not for the Game Awards. So they absolutely did put bodies in the game. I don't play the game because I didn't want to support the game. I made my own choice. Exactly. Dude, that's all it takes. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to say the game's not for me. I don't want to play it. But he gets really pissy here. He says, time to wait another 5 or 10 more years for another FPS to come out. First off, it's as if he doesn't think other FPS games exist. I have got a dozen FPS games coming out in the next 2 years on my wish list on Steam from small to medium-size indie and AA developers. What are these guys talking about? When Burnt Peanut was losing his mind, screaming at people not to shit on Marathon because he doesn't want to play Call of Duty 96, this is not to attack Burnt Peanut, because I think he's, for whatever reason people find him enjoyable, that's fine. He can exist, and I have no problem with him as a streamer or content creator, as an entertainer, whatever. If he's enjoyable to you, have more fun with that. I don't care. My issue is he so like mainstream normie that he doesn't realize that Call of Duty is not the only first-person shooter that's ever existed? Like, you don't have to play Call of Duty. You don't have to play Battlefield. There are a million other shooters out there. Tactical military shooters, squad-based. It's not the only game. With this chat volume on Kick, you be laughing to the bank? Oh, are we talking about... I don't even know what you're talking about, Equilibrium. I've got no idea. Far West is fun, won't be huge in sales, but it's an enjoyable FPS. Ball and Gun Gamer thinks there's no FPS coming out for 5 years. Yeah, basically. Saying doesn't make sense. It was like He-Man minus the creativity. Well, so yeah, exactly. Player counts are nice data to have, but CFOs and all that care about games sold. But the problem with Highguard is they couldn't sell the game. It was based on microtransactions. Free-to-play game. But yeah, I see what you're saying there. Dev said Highguard was originally developed as a survival shooter with base building and crafting. That sounds like Fortnite, dude. That's like Fortnite back in the day. Fortnite was originally supposed to be a survival crafting zombie game. What the hell? Oh, Kick pays you for engagement? Oh, okay. Well, I despise Kick as a platform. I'm there because if people want to use it instead, I have it set up already. But Kick sucks. Kick is white trash Twitch, and I already hate Twitch. If you buy the game, use the servers for a couple of years without buying a single microtransaction, you're costing Bungie money. Play count can actually be bad. Copies sold matter. Well, again, copies sold are going to matter a lot more for Marathon because, again, I don't know. We're going to have to wait to see what the monetization of Marathon looks like inside the game. I imagine there's going to be purchasable cosmetics, just like Arc Raiders has, and just like every other live service game, free to play or, actual money up front is going to have. The question is how predatory is their monetization going to be? So I approve this message, yeah. They follow the Fortnite strategy except for the making money part. Well, guys, I'm gonna say something crazy. If Fortnite came out a year ago or 2 years ago, it wouldn't have survived. Fortnite is for what it is. I don't play Fortnite, but I understand why people like it. I understand why kids enjoy it. The whole crossover thing makes them a lot of money. The skins, the cosmetics, all that. But if Fortnite came out now, it would die. It would never take hold. Again, right place, right time. No, DB Wild, you're 100% correct about that. And I don't care where the money comes from. I'll take Kick's money like I'll take YouTube's. It all sucks. It's all dirty money anyways, but whatever. Does Highguard shooting appeal to FPS players? Don't this fall in two different types of games being... I mean... So H. Brown, I kind of get what you're saying there. My thing with Highguard, it wasn't like the style was too different for me to play. I like military shooters. I like realistic military shooters. I like the Call of Duty kind of arcadey ones once in a while. I like Apex. I like sci-fi shooters. I like all different types of shooters. I always thought that I was more of a third-person camera RPG fantasy kind of guy. But when I look at my playtime on games, I play mostly shooters. You know, it's crazy. Hey, Desert Fox, actually like the original Fortnite game, not the Battle Royale. Yeah, exactly. Well, McKinney, we're going to get into the whole marathon Sony Ghost of Yotei thing, because I think the Ghost of Yotei thing is actually really funny. Really funny after all these months of being told how it surpassed all these sales expectations and all that. So we're going to get into that in a minute. It's an extraction shooter with leveling and stuff, but the progress is in the demo isn't carried over to the full launch. So, of course, people will stop playing after they figure out the game. Player count of the server slime's irrelevant. I disagree. It shows interest in the game. I think the player count is relevant. Now, I don't think the game's dead on arrival. With the thumbnail I have, dead game, I'm talking about Highguard. Again, that's two different games. I think Marathon is in worse shape than I would have expected it to be. If you'd asked me when I was talking about this Marathon like a month ago, I was expecting Marathon to be just fine. Like, I figured, oh yeah, there's no way they won't have less than 100,000 concurrent players on Steam when the game launches. Which, again, is indicative of sales. I don't know what percentage of people who buy the game day one play it on day one concurrently. From the estimates I've seen, if you have 100,000 concurrent people playing your game on Steam, it means like you have 1 million copies sold. So it's a pretty, okay, going off that estimate, that would mean, if they have 100,000 concurrents, maybe they sold 1 million copies day one. Not a bad day one. Obviously, that'd be pretty impressive. Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I just look at the Marathon Server Slam as being indicative of the lack of interest from people outside of those who are already interested and already planning on buying the game. Number 2 top sellers on Steam right now. It was 24 before the demo, so it's safe to assume a lot of people that tried the demo actually liked it and pre-purchased, and you could be right about that. Again, for the top sellers chart, it's indicative of revenue, not copies sold. So if right now Marathon is selling better than other games, which it is, because the game comes out tomorrow, it won't stay that way necessarily if the game, let's say everyone who's going to play the game the first week buys it within the next 3 days, you're going to see it stay at that high part of the charts, and then as people who have already bought the game continue to play it, and less people are interested in picking the game up until it goes on sale or are convinced by their buddy to pick it up, it'll slide down the charts. Now, the important thing to see is if we're talking about longevity of the game, look at the games that have been on the top seller chart for the last 6 months. Okay, Arc Raiders has not fallen off the top sellers chart in like the last, a game came out in October, right? And it's been sitting in the top 10 the entire time. That means people are continuously spending money in the game. It could be microtransactions, could be the skins in the game, or it could actually be copies sold, because it's based on revenue, not actual physical copies or digital copies of the game. Oh, no. So Floating Cloud, the Concord 3 thing is a meme. Marathon, I highly doubt will be a Concord level failure. I do not think I do not think Marathon will be shut down in a matter of months. I think it's going to find that it's difficult to find a large audience. I would say that it's definitely going to appeal to a specific group of people. And that's going to be the hard part for Bungie, is depending on how much they spend on the game, that's going to be the difficulty in recouping their cost. Mark this week, May 13th to 19th is when Sony will publish its quarterly report. They will disclose the units of Marathon sold or shipped. That will be the real state of thing. Yeah, exactly. So we'll know. We'll know in a couple months. Concordian doesn't mean 600 players. It means it won't make it. There's somewhere in between is that the actual sweet spot of what you could call Concordian, despite the game looking okay. I personally look. I thought a little too. My estimates were a little high. We'll say that. When I was looking at the game initially, I'm like, well, based on the way that the social media interactions are and the level of genuine hype I'm seeing from people who have been talking positively about Marathon, yeah, a lot of people like me. I didn't enjoy the game. I didn't like it, didn't like the look, whatever. But there was still a lot of natural, seemingly natural hype for the game. So I would have assumed the game, the beta, the playtest would have had a higher number of players. Let's get some subs. I don't want subs.
Watching you. Dan.
Wait, do you mean subscribers or a sub sandwich? Because I don't want a sub sandwich. I already had dinner. Thanks for the 2, Smeg. Appreciate it. Both overshot our estimates. I was thinking 250 to 300 for the server slam. Just based on... Guys, Highguard got 97,000. Highguard got 97,000 on the first day. I assumed Marathon could easily triple that.
Do I need to be liked?
Like, no question.
Absolutely not.
Smeg, 5 more gifted? Oh my god, dude.
Enjoy being liked.
Holy cow.
I have to be liked.
Love a foot long. I always love a foot long. Wish I had a foot long. Smegs, thanks for the 5 gifted, buddy, and the 2 again. The knife is overpowered and the gun feels like I'm shooting Nerf guns. The knife is a little overpowered. If I'm going to criticize something, I will say that the knife, the melee attacks are a little overpowered. But at the same time, it helps save you ammo, because I remember playing the Server Slam day 1, there was a very, like a mass shortage of ammo on the maps. So you kind of had to switch to your knife quite a bit just to survive. The guns are meh. I mean, I prefer guns to have a little bit of recoil. And the guns, there's not much recoil. I know I've seen some people struggle with the gameplay Marathon. I didn't have that much issue with the guns themselves. It's whatever. I mean, look, guys, we'll know. The game will come out tomorrow. If the game has high Steam count numbers, those of us who have been saying that it's not looking good are going to look like, we're retards or whatever. We're going to get shit on by the Marathon fanboys, by the Sony fanboys. If the opposite happens, it's going to go the opposite way, but we won't know ultimately for a couple of months. This is all conjecture at this point. This is opinion. Look, if you enjoy Marathon, then you are correct. You're allowed to enjoy it. You're okay to enjoy it. It's perfectly fine for you to enjoy something. It's perfectly fine for me to not enjoy it. We have to wait to see what's actually going to happen with the game itself. Gunplay was fine. Yeah, it was fine. I thought the gunplay was just fine. It's whatever. The AI has no way to counter your melee. Yeah, the funny thing is a lot of people were complaining about how overpowered the PvE, the bots were on Marathon. I didn't find that to be a problem. You can get overpowered if there's too many of them. But like Arc Raiders, you can get your ass clapped by like one freaking Wasp or Hornet that you're not able to shoot down because you got a shitty weapon from your free loadout. At least in Marathon, when you play like the Rook or whatever, they give you a couple like decent options. Sony fanboys talk a lot with their mouths, not with their wallets. Yes and no. Here's the thing. We're not even to the Marathon part of the stream yet. Marathon I have at the end of... Okay, let's get through these posts. Because I do want to talk about that. BZ Power, I do want to talk about that. There is something to that I do want to get to. So, he says, time to wait another 5 or 10 years for another FPS. Retarded thing to say. Great job, guys. You canceled a free-to-play game. Again, you canceled. Apparently, you and me canceled it. Not Tencent, not Wildlight. That tried to spice things up in the FPS market. DEI slop Highguard. Guess I'll play Apex, Call of Duty, Overwatch for the rest of my life. Let's not forget those games all copied other games before them too. Woke Highguard. And so I said, post your hours in Highguard. I want to see something. Because again, at the time when he was complaining about it, there was about 200 people playing Highguard on Steam. That was it. The concurrent estimates are like ranging between 200 and 600, and 600 now is the high that it's been. I don't really get into roller skating or rollerblading, man. Not a huge fan. Like I'd probably do it now, but like when I was a kid, I hated it because I was always afraid of falling down, which is stupid because I'm short. Like who cares? If you fall down when you're short, you're not going to get hurt that bad. But no, I never really cared for like things on wheels. Bicycles, I love bicycling, but like skateboards and roller skates stuff, not so much. This guy, it was a great game and a great fight. Okay. I'm not saying this game would have succeeded, but it really sucks to see a game that at least tried to do something different get trashed so harshly. It was an alright game, but it didn't deserve this. Good luck to the remains of the Wildlight team. I hope the next idea bears fruit. There won't be a next idea. The studio's going to get shut down. All I hear is wah, wah, wah. Yeah. No, he didn't post his hours. I have never seen this dude post his hours. Not a single time. Okay? Oh, this guy's getting a personal thank you from Chad Grenier. Okay, well, there you go. Staycation. He's one of the guys who got invited, I'm pretty sure, to the event. People don't praise failure, but it's the foundation of every success. Nothing but love for Wildlight. They're full of passion and are risk takers at heart. Highguard blessed me with new friends and fun experiences. I look forward to whatever y'all decide to make next. Yeah, it's easy to say that when you're getting like first-class treatment from the developers, right? Rollerblades will put my back out. They might. It's like Star Trek Starfleet Academy, don't complain or we won't get more shit sandwiches. Pretty much, right? That's kind of what this... Like, you're threatening me with another bad game. Please don't. Shocked like residents of a tele... Oh my god, dude. QC Jerks, that's what I'm asking. Who's going to come to my defense when I lose my job, when I have to close my business because I don't have enough customers or don't make enough money? Nobody's going to care. Most undeserved death of a game maybe ever. Oh, this guy, Mr. I'm glazing this game. Everyone's going to love it. It was really fun while it lasted. This game, during the time it introduced me to a new group of friends who love gaming as much as I do. Hate to see games go out like this. Yeah. Should have told them the cold hard truth when you had the chance. Instead, you wanted to keep access because you got wined and dined 100%. Hey, Empress. Words have no meanings for Shills, pretty much. 90% of marathons running out with a knife and trying not to get tired. So you're sidetracking me again. See what happens? You're sidetracking me. The marathon, the thing that I heard from people is like you have to play it longer because it's you level up. There are parts of people's argument about marathon that I understand. Yes, it's a game where you have to level up your skills and your faction and your this and that. Okay, I accept that. The problem is, I could have played Arc Raiders in the playtest last year before the game released and told you right away, I don't know what I'm doing. I played an hour. I'm a level 1 noob. I'm getting killed left and right, and I'm having an amazing time. I mean, Escape from Tarkov, as much as I despise the game, if I sit down and play it right now, I'm going to get destroyed by anybody playing that game. And I'm still going to have fun doing it because I genuinely enjoy the gameplay itself. I didn't enjoy the gameplay of Highguard. I didn't enjoy the gameplay of Marathon. It's not just about, well, you got to level up. You got to be like max level 50. Bungie's founder, Jason Jones, said, you got like 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes. You have to give the people this loop of fun game, gameplay and all that. And if they don't have fun, they're not going to stay with it. People have forgotten that. Stop noticing the Horde games. Yeah. From an interview from a child on a US TV morning show, they asked the little boy a question. Oh yeah, the I like turtles things. Exactly. I'll never forget when I got into a Rocket League match with devs and we asked them to get rid of a map because it sucked and they told us to F off. Well, that could have gone two different ways, man. But yeah, that's pretty funny. Oh my god. Hey everybody, Decembro's voice. I can't do his Portugal accent. I don't know. Dude, Decembro's got the funniest accent. Like, I can't copy it. It is the strangest thing. It's great. It's an awesome accent, but I have no idea how to copy it. Fran Mirabella. He was also at the event. One final ride for Highguard, ending servers on March 12th. New character, weapon, and even skill trees coming. Cheers to the team at Wildlight for supporting the game post-launch, trying to get out more content, which was likely years in the making by the whole studio. I would like to see it evolve and improve, but I dip in and out of shooters anyways. I play a good 50 plus hours and no regrets trying something new and mounting up with old friends. Well, yeah, if you're just playing the game, there's no regrets for you because you've already played it. You didn't sink money into it. You're just basically a journalist at this point. Highguard flopping is absolutely ridiculous. The game was so fun and offered such a unique team fighting ability-based game, and I'm honestly completely shocked it's gone. Okay, how can there be this many people playing this game? Or saying they're playing the game, but the numbers tell otherwise. Mind you, these are mostly like PC gamers. A lot of these guys are PC gamers. And the PC numbers say otherwise. Running around knifing and looting. I mean, to be fair, that's a lot of games. Video on YouTube is called Zombie Kid Likes Turtles. Oh my god, yeah, it's a great meme though. If people weren't getting into it after 4 hours, 8 hours, or 10 hours, even the entire free-to-play weekend, what makes you think that they're going to fork out $40 to play it? Yeah, Makini, I could have played the game. I could have played the game for longer than the, 3 or 4 hours that I actually played it. I could have. It was hurting my eyes. And people are going to go, oh, you're stupid. You're just saying that you're making... Okay. So I'm lying about the game being visually unappealing and hurting my eyes to look at. Well, if that's the opinion I have, and that's the opinion a lot of people have, how are you going to say that their opinion is invalid? Because, again, anybody can have any reason why they don't enjoy something. Enjoyment is supposed to be made to be enjoyed, right? And if I'm not enjoying something because X, Y, or Z is having a negative effect on me personally, I can't enjoy it. It's that simple. Now, you don't have to make something for the mass majority of people. You can say, well, the game's a niche game. We're not making it for everybody to enjoy. We're making it for our fans to enjoy, and that's fine. If Marathon is only meant to appeal to a very small, very broad audience, then have at it. The problem is this is a Bungie game. This is a Sony game. You'd expect it to be something where they're trying to compete with other shooters that are out there, and so you'd expect them to make decisions that would actually appeal to the majority of people, right? Could have gone past 4 hours, but my audience was turning out after 4 hours. Dude, Makini, I streamed it for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. I played it before the stream for like an hour to get the tutorial and stuff out of the way. I played it again the next day for video footage and stuff, played with, random squads and all that. Played it solo, I think, on the stream. But in general, it was hard for anybody to look at. Now, if you're playing the game, maybe it's not as bad. I haven't watched somebody stream Marathon. I just played it myself. I don't see a point in watching somebody else play a game I don't want to play. But it's not appealing, Androgynous woke inspired neon vomit. I mean, you're not wrong in a lot of those ways. The thing is, I understood what they were trying to go with. The problem is it was not appealing to look at. So I don't like this game isn't meant for you stuff. It never works, and I'll never open my alt to those who tell me not to. No, exactly. If they tell you not to, then you're entirely valid in not giving them money. That's the thing. The intro gave me yeah. Marathon's a better game than Highguard? Fair. At least in the gameplay part of it. In the gameplay, you're not wrong. My issue with it was just looking at it. That was the biggest problem I had. I will continue to say the hate on this game was so over the top. It was a good game. People just didn't give it a chance. Oh my god. Let me see here. Genuinely sad that they're shutting down the servers. Gaming cancel culture 1. Oh god. They killed a game that could have been a breath of fresh air. Was the game perfect? Of course not. No game is, but the experience was incredibly fun. It was competitive with fluid movement and satisfying gunplay. Best part was that there is nothing else quite like Highguard's gameplay loop. I hope this does not discourage future developers from taking... I hope it discourages them from taking this risk. At the end of the day, I'm grateful I was able to meet and play with so many different people, and I'm glad... Did all these people get paid to play the game? I'm confused. I'm very confused. Who are these people that they met? So why didn't you play it and stream it consistently? I did. I put in hundreds of streaming hours. You put in 200 hours on Highguard on stream. You stream more just chatting in the time the game was out for Wildlife for clicks. I mean, if he put in 200 hours streaming Highguard, I can't fault the guy for that. Clearly, he actually liked the game. Big Fry, streamers killed Highguard, toxic gamers killed Highguard, people wanted the game to fail from the jump. If you all liked it so much, where the fuck y'all at? Exactly. So I said, fantastic question. Nobody. No one's there. Humans most are bugs and insects. Bungie make cutscenes and loading screens full of insects and worms. Well, okay. Now you're onto something there. I've been saying for a while that Bungie has made Marathon intentionally to appeal to a weird group of people. Primarily what I'm seeing the most of, and we'll get to it in a minute, is a lot of like transgender and stuff, right? Okay, here's the guy I was talking about. One of the very few games that made me have fun again. I only see Apex content in your feed. Did you actually play Highguard the last few weeks? I play it a lot off stream, but I've been playing it ever since it dropped. Somebody saying, let's see those Steam stats. LMAO, no you don't. If you liked it that much, you wouldn't care what anyone thought and you just play it. No, you're not. No, you weren't. Yeah. This is the thing I don't understand. It's one thing to say, the game wasn't for me, but you know what? I'm sure somebody enjoyed it. And that's exactly, that's how I feel about Highguard. I'm sure somebody out there enjoyed the game. Somebody had to have. I've said this for a while. Music is one of those things, guys. Music is one of those things where my least favorite song in the entire universe, or my least favorite song on a specific album, if you guys remember what albums are, might be somebody's favorite song of all time, right? That happens. So a song or a movie or something that you think is utter, pure dog shit could be somebody else's favorite thing of all time. That entirely is possible. It is absolutely possible. But unfortunately, in the case of Highguard, most people didn't find it enjoyable. So he quote tweeted this guy, Big Cheese. I don't even need to play this video. You guys can know exactly what this guy's going to say. He's like, yeah, another influencer telling us it's our fault that Highguard failed. I really want to make another video on the game, but I've had enough of people like this. So I've actually got a video from Big Fry here that I was going to play. I haven't watched it yet, but it's just like a 6-minute one. I want to hear what he has to say about all this shit. I wonder if I go full screen if it's going to hide his face. Well, we're just going to leave this in the little mini screen right here. You guys can still hear it. That way he's not kind of covered up or whatever. Weird agenda in a game. I don't like my games lecturing me. Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. Yeah, I'd hope it's a better game too, seeing the cost associated with it, Bungie and Sony and all that. Exactly. No return on investment on Horizon. No. My least favorite song is Friday by Rebecca Black. Easy enough. Dude, I would have to really think about like what my least favorite song of all time is. But my point is that obviously we're not all going to agree on things. Something that you enjoy, somebody else is going to loathe entirely. That's called being human. You know, that's normal. Let me see here. How loud is this?
All right, so I've been seeing a lot of these kind of videos and these kind of tweets coming from people. I really don't understand how influencers can look at the situation surrounding Highguard.
By the way, I love that he had put the word influencers in quotes because I despise the word influencers. I was actually telling my kids about this earlier after dinner. I'm like, yeah, the word influencer, technically based on the size of my YouTube channel having more than 10,000 subs, I'm considered a micro influencer, which is funny because I'm short. But like, I despise the term influencer. You shouldn't be being influenced, like made to think a certain thing because of somebody that you watch. If you agree with them, that's fine. If you have opinions that are similar interests and whatever, that's fine. I hate the term influencer. He has no. So Big Fry is a more like left-wing Canadian dude, but he's a gamer, man. He made his own game. He's a game dev. He's one of these guys that when his game came out a couple months ago, had a lot of problems, and they took a lot of shit, and they went and fixed the shit that they were dealing with, you know? So I even though we disagree on a lot of like worldview
Your
politics and stuff, I have a lot of
subjective
respect for
mine,
him.
So you're wrong.
He's Canadian, checks out. Yeah, he's Canadian. And like I said, if we were to sit down and talk like, real world politics and stuff, we'd probably have a lot of differences of opinion. Did he make the game or did he finance it? He and a group of devs actually made the game. It's called Transients, and no, not trans like that. It's a first-person tactical shooter, story-driven, no multiplayer. I've got it. I've played a couple hours of it. It's decent. I haven't played it since the update. So, no. It's like dystopian spy, warring factions, futuristic type stuff. Been playing games since Pathways into Darkness. I put up with all the Bungie weirdness, but the marathon that finally lost me. I'll keep playing D2 while it lasts. Yeah, I could never really get into Destiny 2. I was looking earlier because somebody's like, well, how many raids have you gone on Destiny 2? I'm like, I played Destiny 2 for like 20 hours. I didn't find it that interesting, Oh, yeah, Wagon Burner. Oh, that's the thing that really sucks is now you can't even do articles, man. Hey, hell yeah, dude. Absolutely. I'll be keeping an eye out. Have a good night, bud. Canadians are special. Influencers are for sheeple. Man, yeah. Big Fry's all right. He jumped on the stream train too, and I unsub, but here and there I watch a vid. Yeah, Big Fry's decent. I'm okay with Big Fry. All right, so I'm gonna play this now.
And even in this video from Big Cheese here, he uses the example of why we gave Cyberpunk 2077 a chance and not Highguard. which is insane to me because when Cyberpunk dropped, everybody said at the time there was something there, but holy fuck, the optimization, the bugs, the glitches, it was panned across the internet.
So again, Cyberpunk, when it dropped, I think was much more in a situation where if you go look at the Steam reviews for Monster Hunter Wilds, that game had sold, what, like 10 or 12 million copies in the first few months, but it has massively negative reviews on Steam because of the optimization and the performance of Monster Hunter on computer, right, on PC. Much like Cyberpunk, people said the game would be really good if it wasn't for all the bugs. Highguard didn't have, like, people complained about bugs and match times and load times. Like, I didn't have any of those problems with Highguard. It was just uninteresting. That was it.
It was made fun of in every single video.
Apples and oranges, exactly.
Ever. And they took a few years and they turned it around. They brought back DLCs, and it was one of the most incredible 180s that you could make in this industry at the time. But you have to ask yourself, if you're
XQC's Canadian,
fucking smart enough to ask the question, why do you think Cyberpunk 2077 was able to spend the next couple of years turning things around and Highguard wasn't? Highguard shut down 45 days after launch, or it will on March 12th. Tencent pulled their funding 2 weeks after launch. Why do you think that is? When we say we're tired of live service games, we always get the inverse of like, well, people are playing Arc Raiders, man. People are playing Overwatch. People are playing... Yeah, people are playing those games because they're good games, right? When we say that we're...
That's, again, the point I was trying to make in my video. I don't think people who play live service games that they enjoy are playing them because they're live service games. They're playing them because they're good games. Now, they might be playing them in some situations in spite of them being live service because they don't like live service as a whole, but people are going to play a great game whether it's live service or not. His background isn't... Yeah, but he's got a couple nice guitars back there. I can't fault him for the guitars, man.
We're tired of live service. What we're actually saying, and maybe this isn't clear for
yes,
people,
Avernum, exactly.
So let's make it clear. What we're saying is we're tired of games that are clearly built.
Yeah, equilibrium, the toxic positivity, yes.
And economies first and the experience second or tertiary. We're tired of magenta slop. We're tired of these hero shooters that are built by committee that don't actually hit the current market that we are in. Overwatch came out in 2016 and garnered that community, and they were one of the I don't want to say they're the first ones, but they were one of the first big ones to do it. Games like Realm Royale and Paladins, they kind of came around all at the same time, but Overwatch was obviously the...
QC Jerks, I was watching Big Fry on a live stream a couple weeks ago, and somebody had asked him about it. His room is magenta slop. I know, guys, I wouldn't do the lighting he's got in his room, okay? I get it. But that being said, it was one of those stupid things. He's like, yeah, my buddies and I, we just got the Xbox and we had to set up a username for it, and we were eating McDonald's French fries and there was a really big fry, and so we're like, hey, just call it Big Fry. Dude, that was how I got the nickname Tebow, okay? Because my first Xbox gamer tag that I actually chose was some Lord of the Rings reference, and then I got really into football in my late teens, and Tim Tebow was playing quarterback for the Patriots, even though he was dog shit. He couldn't throw the ball to save his life, but he could run and tackle people. So my username on Xbox, my gamer tag was Run Tebow Run, as a joke. Okay, that's been back like 20 plus years in the making. Well, it's Tebow now, but only for specific people. So I at least can relate to that because I have held on to that username for forever. Now my daughter changed the username to something terrifying on Xbox, but no. So that was just kind of how the nickname stuck.
The most dominant one. And that was at a time when live service was still kind of getting its foothold in the industry.
Podcast. I see what you're saying, Matt Adams. Got it.
Overwatch came out in 2016, and in 2026, we are still getting hero shooters. We are still getting the magenta slot. We're still getting the exact same experiences. And Highguard might play a little different. Highguard might do a couple of things different, but at the end of the day, it is the exact same feeling experience.
Just go for it.
We've been talking for the last 5 or 6 years now that we're tired of it. We're looking for different kinds of experiences. It's the reason why in 2018 and in 2019, Escape from Tarkov started to blow up on Twitch. It's a reason why Warzone, when it came out during the height of COVID era, people were looking for the next step in Battle Royale. They were looking...
I'm curious, because I prefer, despite playing Apex Legends with my kids, what I really loved about Apex Legends when it first launched was that although it was sci-fi and futuristic and with heroes, it was still more grounded in the terms of the way the guns looked and the gunplay. It was very militaristic in a way, like the weapons still felt like they could be something you'd find on modern day Earth, right? So I have always preferred, if I'm going to play a shooter, I would prefer to play something more like military, or even back to like all the way to World War II, than some like Overwatch shit with like all the unicorn vomit all over the screen and different abilities going left and right. Am I in the minority, or is it like a gender and age thing? Is it because I'm like a guy in his almost 40s? Or is it just something in general where people have different proclivities to different types of shooters? Gamertag has been evil incarnate since 07. I can't change it now. Dude, my gamer tag was, like I said, it was back from like 2005 or 2006. I'm an old man. Yeah, welcome home. I'm an old man. I like sci-fi out there as an old fan of Star Wars, just not the way Marathon did it. So yeah, it might just be a specific preference or taste, I guess. I don't know.
Looking for a more polished experience. These games come out at
God, the
certain
Revolver
times,
and Highguard, man.
It's a reason why Arc Raiders just released last year, and it's one of the best multiplayer games.
I look 30 except for this here.
Know why? Because Embark for the last several years were developing a game, and they realized that it wasn't fun, and so they pivoted. And they added an extra, I want to say 2 or 3 years.
Okay, this is for the fries in the bag, tea bag. This is something that people need to understand. So the people attacking those of us who think Marathon is painful to look at and that makes the experience not fun to play. The Bungie founder, I mentioned it earlier, how he said basically you have to keep people engaged. You have to give them something fun. If it's not fun in 5 minutes, they're going to check out. What does he say right here about that? Think about it. What Arc Raiders has going for it.
Released last year, and it's one of the best multiplayer games of all time. Do you want to know why? Because Embark for the last several years were developing a game, and they realized that it wasn't fun.
That was an actual quote from the developers, was that they realized the direction that they were heading, the game wasn't fun to play. If a game's not fun, who the hell's going to want to play it? You know? Then again, Apex guns were taken from Titanfall, and they were made to fit a fleshed out universe and not a hodgepodge of fantasy. And Avernum, the thing is, like, all the guns in Apex are a variation of the guns from Titanfall 2, exactly. So, like, in Titanfall 2, you have the R201, and in Apex, you have the R301. Same thing with all the other model numbers of all the different weapons. When you don't have toxic positivity, learn. And QC Jerks, we talked about this on stream. We figured out the CEO of Embark is the guy who told people not to play his game when they had Battlefield 5 with the female black Nazi chick or whatever she was on the cover of the game. Was she I can't remember if she was the Nazi or if she was the protagonist, whatever it was. I didn't play Battlefield 5. I don't know. But it's like, holy shit, dude. I love non-fun games. If I'm looking for wasting my time with boredom and misery, this is right up my alley. Yeah. So it's crazy that then Embark has this team of people that turns around and says, hey, if it's not fun, we got to fix it, right?
And so they pivoted. And they added an extra, I
Robo
want
Arm,
to say 2
yes.
or 3 years of development on top of what they had already put in, because they cared about the experience first. And it's clear as day. You can see
Hell yeah,
it.
Matt Adam.
You can feel it. From the very first moment of jumping into Arc Raiders, you knew that it was built with passion. Highguard, you knew that it was built with microtransactions and economies and skins and battle pass.
Which is crazy because they'll tell you Highguard was built with passion, but it wasn't. Game doesn't have to be fun. It has to be fun for the developers. That's why toxic positivity is so bad. Yeah. Battlefield 5 was the chick with a hook hand or something. They told us to F off. We don't like it and we listened. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened.
In live service, and they had all of the economics of it down, but what they didn't think about is the gamers they were selling to. They just sat back and expected it to blow up like Apex Legends, like Overwatch, like all of these other live service titles, but what they didn't realize is they were 5 to 6 to maybe 7 years too late to the gate.
And one thing that I will say, and I haven't looked at the Steam numbers for Apex Legends recently, but as the resident hero shooter battle royale slop that I'll still play with my kids, I can tell you right now that the majority of Apex Legends core player base have probably moved on to other games. And if you made Apex Legends the way it looks now, with the heroes they have now, that they're releasing now for the quote-unquote modern audience, and the people that still play the game, back when they released it in like 2019, it would not have resonated. Because what made it work was its connection to the way that Titanfall 2 looked, the universe that existed then. That's where the appeal was. Once they started making Apex look like Fortnite, it turned a lot of people off. Devs put in so much love and effort, we must reward them with our hard-earned money. Yeah, exactly. I also put in a lot of effort whenever I'm concentrating.
And that's really what it comes down to. And if you're an influencer, if you're somebody who streams on Twitch, YouTube, whatever, and if you can't directly look at the market and look at what people are yelling to the heavens, you wonder why people are so angry. Maybe it's because we keep getting the same fucking things when we keep telling these massive corporations that we don't want them. You guys are going to see the same thing with Horizon Hunters Gathering. And this isn't me promoting hate. This isn't me being toxic. This is me telling you, just based on the market trends, right? And now we actually have a few more games that are great examples of this. People don't want this magenta slop. They're over it. And so I think Horizon Hunters Gathering is going to be the next catalyst. People keep saying Marathon is going to be the next one in the Concordian timeline. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Marathon's going to die like a Concord or like a Highguard. I actually think it has, a chance to garner a pretty decent audience. But I do think Horizon Hunters Gathering is going to be one of those games that is going to be dead shortly.
This is on the Concordian timeline. Yes. You can't see it past the chat, but it's right here because it's coming towards the end of 2026. Fair game here, guys. Fair Games is going to be canceled. Mark my words. The founder of the studio left. I think it was the creative director on the game left. 5 years in development hell, no progress, no updates. From a studio that has not put out a single game yet, Fair Games will never see the light of day. Even redrew the fat chick in the video. Oh, nice. That sounds like something that Sungrand would have done back in the day, but Sungrand decided to become a Nintendo shill instead of actually making cool content, so whatever. Okay, I think we're just about done with... Oh yeah, so Big Fry's video, this is the last part of the Highguard stuff.
After launch, servers are probably going to
Jade
shut down
Raymond,
after
yes.
6 months. And the reason for it is just because I don't think people want to play those games at mass. And what we got to realize here too,
not
is
at mass, en masse.
Massive 100,
en
200,
en masse?
$300 million budgets going into this. And even when we're talking about Marathon,
yo, dude, DB, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. These things go in cycles. They go in trends. The show Arcane, the hyper-realistic painting look, that's a thing now. I'm noticing it more and more. I think with Marathon would be better shell-shaded, a la Jet Grind Radio sort of look. I don't know, man. I mean, it's so freaking tough. Because on one hand, I kind of feel like I get what they were going for. Like, I know I'm probably beating a dead horse saying that. Like, I kind of understand it. It's just not pleasant to look at. So if there's a better way they could have done it, then sure. Learned so many words in today's stream. Oh my God. Yeah.
Dude, Marathon has, what did they say? It has to make 7 to 11 million copies sold to make their money back. That is an extensive fucking reach for a studio making a game that is, I would say that, I don't want to say niche, but like that out there.
It is niche though.
It's the business and the economics of it. And a lot of gamers at this point are fatigued of investing time playing games that are just going to die, and it feels like a rug pull every time, right? Even with the Highguard announcement, there was a lot of people commenting saying like, the money I spent in the game, am I going to get my money back? Oh, there's no refunds? Huh. I wonder why people are sick of this shit. It's really not that hard to fucking understand.
Yeah. No, I think 100%. No, I'm glad I saved that because it's a 6-minute video. I don't know if he put it on... Can't comply with this action. I can't repost it right now. Screw you, man. Oh my God, Kilted Cajun. This is the exact moment you mentioned magenta slop. I'm sorry, but it made me laugh. Oh, that's great. Yeah. But it is. I do think Big Fry is right on the money here. So let's go ahead and pivot right into this Sony stuff because it's going to take us a while. Dude, we might not even get to Marathon tonight. We might just have to, be like, all right, let's just wait and see what happens with Marathon when it happens, Let me see here. Oh no, Equilibrium, what'd you put on Discord? Hang on. Let me see. Who is this? Receiving backlash after accusing, later clarifying that Dude, that can't be real. Equilibrium, that cannot be real. Somebody's requesting a community note. Says she did not backtrack, even provided a full transcript of the story. I'm so confused. You're going to have to look into that, dude. You'll have to look into that more. I don't know. I feel like Highguard's an industry plant. Jeff, social media and Tencent hyping it up. They want us to force it all. I mean, yeah, for real, it feels like that. Get to it. We'll get to it, man. Hang on. Should have scrapped the game and instead used the artist to make an animated series. You know, there's a lot of people saying that the lore of Marathon is really cool. I don't know. I haven't looked into the lore that much. It seems like your stereotypical horror sci-fi stuff, missing spaceship, weird alien civilizations, or transhumanistic stuff. It's not bad. Make it lame and gay. All right. So here we go. Sony no longer releasing single-player PlayStation exclusives on PC. Show of hands, anybody excited about the Wolverine game? No? Okay. So if you don't have a PlayStation, that's what you're going to miss out on, apparently. It says if you've been enjoying playing the likes of God of War, the Ghost franchise. Guys, I have played Ghost of Tsushima for maybe 3 hours combined. Like, come on. Hey, Korean Cowboy. Me make these games with the ability for players to host their own servers. Yeah, for real. I mean, that's part of the whole stop killing games thing, is giving people the ability to make their own server to preserve the game without requiring, obviously, the developers to have any cost associated with it, but let people have the right to preserve the game themselves. Let's see. Or the Ghost franchise, other Sony single-player games on PC, you might need to upgrade to a PS5 for future releases if you haven't already. Guys, I have got one game that is a single-player Sony exclusive that later came to... two. Ghost of Tsushima and Stellar Blade. Both of which I've played for a combined maybe 2 or 3 hours, and I don't even know that I'll ever get around to finishing them. Stellar Blade was cool. Combat was cool. Game looks fun. She's hot. You know, all those elements combined. Good game. Good music. The soundtrack for Stellar Blade is actually really good to vibe out to, right? It's really, really awesome music. No, it's not a game that I'm like dying to get back to and finish. I'd rather get back to finishing Black Myth Wukong or First Berserker or something. As far as Ghost of Tsushima, I can't ever look at the voice actor for Jin Sakai anymore after watching him scream after Trump got elected. So I'm gonna have a hard time ever finishing either one of those games. Transhumanistic, so proper Goyslop. SBI Wolverine, yeah. Sony's planning to release the PS6 probably. Yeah, exactly. Isn't that coming out next year? People making it sound like current Sony single-player games on PS5 are astounding. Clearly, they weren't around for PS1 and 2. Tons more games a year. Yeah, dude, the quality of recent games is just not good. Bought a PS5 for Stellar Blade and did over 6 full playthroughs. Dude, that's insane, man. I don't know. I just didn't really resonate with Stellar Blade. Maybe I'll get back to it at some point. In a shocking turn of events, Sony is ending the bulk of its third-party exclusivity strategy by taking away future core single-player titles from PC. This means that upcoming games like Wolverine will remain PS5 exclusives, and it surely shuts the door on PlayStation to Xbox ports. Okay, this will be funny to see. Now, again, I don't care about the console wars anymore. I don't care. Look, Nintendo's going to keep their exclusivity because they can afford to. Xbox is basically giving up on exclusivity and damn near giving up on the console war entirely. It seems like Xbox within another couple generations may not even have consoles anymore the way that they're headed. So I don't know if this is going to make Xbox rethink giving up exclusivity to Sony, if this actually comes to pass or not. But clearly Sony thinks... These more Chinese games. Clearly Sony thinks that this is going to end up making them more money, and I don't think that they're wrong, okay? PS6 might be held up until 2028 or 29. Ooh, that's crazy. PS6 has RAM. It won't be coming out soon. Probably not. And if it does, it'll come out at like $2,000. So before we get off topic too far, somebody had mentioned, I had a tweet about this, and December said a year ago I would have called you crazy, but you might be right about this. I said, I don't think the Sony going back to single-player exclusives on PlayStation is going to lose them money on PC. If anything, here's the thing. We all know that console warriors, that console fanboys, the ponies, the Sony lovers, all the sex box lovers, all these people would happily give their money to Sony, $100 a game, if they knew the game was an exclusive. I think Equilibrium pointed out earlier the whole Code Violet thing. Code Violet was a dog shit game that I said looked like dog shit when everybody was glazing it because it had a somewhat attractive woman and terrible Unreal Engine graphics in the game, right? People were going nuts. The Sony fans were going nuts about Code Violet because it was an exclusive, all right? Then the game turned out to be dog shit. But they wanted to defend that game simply because it had the Sony exclusive name on it, although it launched on PC also. But they believed it to be an exclusive, right? Because it wasn't on Xbox. Okay, so what? So that being said, I think Sony might actually make more money milking their PlayStation audience and encouraging people to buy consoles instead of, being able to play it on PC, rather than saying we're going to wait a year and put the game on Steam or on Epic or whatever. They might actually make more money by doing this. Do not compare Xbox people to ponies. Oh, man. Well, Code Violet was a scam, 100%. I said sex box because remember that scene off Family Guy? That's my sex box, and her name is Sony. Only Sony has games where half the screen is a woman's ass. Exactly. Those don't exist on computer at all. The lore in Destiny was cool too. They didn't tell you. Who cares? Held your game hostage. Bye-bye exclusive. Suck ass. Oh, man. Their defenders are delusional. Yeah. Oh, you did? Okay, QC jerks. Good. So my point is they might actually be onto something. They might get more money for their games in the life of their game if they leave the single player titles. Now, they're not talking multiplayer. So Helldivers 2, all those games, none of those games are going to be at risk of not being on PC. Look at Marathon. Imagine if they were saying Marathon is only going to be on PlayStation. Okay, this was like the first 3 seasons. I don't still watch Family Guy. No, the first 3 seasons, though, were amazing. Yeah, back when it was good, exactly. I almost wonder if Marathon would sell more copies if it was on PlayStation only. I'm not kidding. Think about it this way. If what the Wildlight dev said is true, if the majority of people consuming the slop that was Highguard were playing primarily on PlayStation and not on PC, if Marathon was only on PlayStation, it would probably sell more copies because the Sony fanboys would be like, we have something you don't have. I'm going to play this and rub it in your face. It's like, I don't care. Who cares? Hey, Cranky, try fun. Sincerely, an Insomniac gamer had a blast with Marathon. Quit whining. Okay. Or you can shut up and let me whine because I'm allowed to do that. But hey, you're allowed to like Marathon too. You missed the part where I said you're allowed to like it. You're coming in here talking about Marathon, and I'm actually in the middle of talking about Sony's exclusivity on their single-player games. We'll get to the Marathon stuff eventually. Like, keep your pants on. We started off with Highguard, and we kept getting derailed to Marathon. Insulting, but might be true. I don't know. I think, honestly, the majority of... And this goes for... I'm sorry, Cage, I gotta say it. This goes for Nintendo, and this goes for Xbox as well. You tell somebody who is loyal to some console, for whatever reason... They've chosen some billion-dollar multinational conglomerate corporation that they are going to swear their allegiance to and fight to the death for their console company that they support, right? You tell them that they have an exclusive, and they will spend whatever you tell them to spend for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. To me, I look at it and go, with PC, you've got Steam, you got GOG, you got Epic, you can choose and pick, and some of these games have their own independent launcher. It doesn't matter where you play your game on computer because you're not playing on it's Windows because Windows is the only operating system that exists other than Linux. Oh, you guys see that thing with Linux? Apparently they're getting rid of, or they have to put in age verification now or some shit. I can't remember what that was about. Sensitivity of Marathon Glazers is high. Black Cat, here's the thing. He could come in here and say, hey, Marathon looks fun to me. And I had already said, Marathon, the gameplay is fine. Gameplay's fine. I have no problem with the gameplay of Marathon. There are clips I'm seeing going around, and I'm not going to name names. Not going to name names. Because there's Apple's Linux. Oh, okay. I didn't know Apple was Linux. I hate Apple. I hate all Macs. I've seen some really bad gameplay of Marathon from certain people. And I'm like, okay, if you played the game like that, then obviously you're not going to enjoy the game because that's just, yeah, I'm an Xbox guy and I refuse to play slot. Well, okay, but then Cage, you are the exception to the rule. The problem is people who engage heavily in this idea that my exclusives are better than... I was there, man. I was there back in the day. I was there. I was a Nintendo fanboy. And then when I bought my first Xbox, I'm like, oh, this is like a Nintendo, but it's got more power. So I became an Xbox fanboy, right? And then years later, I'm like, you know, it doesn't really matter which one you play on. I don't care which one you play on. It's just a matter of like, at this point... I truly believe there is so much of this weird bad blood between Sony fanboys and every other console or way to play a game that exists that if you tell them I've wrapped up a fresh dog turd in a box and I'm going to call it a Sony exclusive and it's $89.99 plus tax, they will happily buy it. I don't, just to own everybody else. It's stupid, dude. It's Linux, just look up the base code. Ah. Okay. Nintendo to Sega to Xbox to Sony, to Xbox, then PC, and I don't care anymore. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Rise of Ronin was worse, but since it was a one-year exclusive, they pretend that it was perfect on release. Name names of the safe space for real man, real gamers. I say I have the video clip pulled up. I might save it for the end of the stream. I don't know. I don't want to be mean. I really don't. Because I'm not some like MLG gamer myself. I struggle to keep up with my kids on Apex Legends. I don't let them carry me anymore. But it's hard out there. It's hard out there being a working dad and having kids playing games, you know? Let me see here. This means upcoming games like Wolverine will remain PS5 exclusives. Ah, yes, that Wolverine game. And not to mention God of War, which is in a terrible state compared to where it used to be. God of War Ragnarok, from what I hear, is one of the most divisive God of War games that's ever existed. Report from Jason Schreier, paywalled. I love that. Put that on there. Journalist has revealed that Sony Group Core no longer plans to release its big PlayStation 5 games on PC. Over the last 6+ years, PC players have gratefully accepted ports of Returnal, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man games, and Horizon franchise. All right, none of which I've ever been excited about, none of which I've played, including the Spider-Man game that Zav Hunter gifted me like 4 years ago, and I still haven't played it. One of these days, man, one of these days, I will download the game, I'll at least record footage for background footage, and I'll finish the game at some point. Lugia, I don't think anybody's actually excited for the Wolverine game, okay? Wolverine doesn't tickle my pickle. We'd rather see the old Origins be released. Yeah, that'd be cool. Just about everything runs on Linux these days? I think that's the case. I don't know, because again, I'm not a Linux guy. I wish I was. Schreier claims that in recent weeks, PlayStation scrapped the plans to bring Ghost of Yotei and other internally developed games to PC. On the other hand, multiplayer titles will remain as third-party releases such as Marathon and Marvel Token? How the hell do you pronounce that? PlayStation spokesperson refused to comment on this strategic shift. No, because Schreier probably wasn't supposed to find that out. Going back to the Ghost of Yotei thing, guys, I wonder... Okay, everybody said, Ghost of Yotei, biggest game ever, keeping up with Ghost of Tsushima, and then they released Ghost of Tsushima on PC, and Ghost of Tsushima did very well on PC. Why would they try to hold on to Ghost of Yotei as an exclusive? The game's already been out. It was already planned to release it on PC, but now they're saying they're going to hold on to it and not release it to PC. This doesn't make any sense. Either the math isn't mathing, right? Something seems off. Convert my old PS3 into a purely Linux emu machine. It runs everything from Atari to emulator to PS3 era games. Huh. Need to research for the rumor that Google is killing Android operating system. Oh, that's crazy. If Sony wants to be exclusive, they should get rid of the Halo game on PlayStation. Lugia, I don't know if are they really going to do that next God of War game? Well, it's going to be a spin-off Black Cat, but yes, essentially. That's what they're going for. So Hypnotic says, I welcome this change because when they inevitably return to PC, it'll be even funnier than it already was when they first came to PC to make extra money. PC has a metric fuck ton of video games releasing every year. Nobody needs PlayStation on the platform if they don't want to be here. I should have saved this one for last because a lot of what you're going to see is people going, oh yeah, look at all these games PlayStation's going to have that PC doesn't get. It's like, guys, PC had 20,000 games. Steam had 20,000 games new games on their platform last year alone. Granted, probably 90% of them sucked, but that still leaves you 2,000 games. Okay, that's a lot of games. Nick Tech saying Sony plans to keep exclusives per PlayStation and shifts towards full independence to release their titles across every platform. So this is huge, guys. In response to this, it seems Shift Up, which again, you remember Stellar Blade was a 1-year exclusive on PlayStation. Shift Up is saying, yeah, basically we're just going to figure out how to self-publish our games and cut Sony out, not have a middleman, which I think is really cool. That's a great idea. They don't want the numbers to embarrass them. That Cage, that's kind of what I'm wondering. I mean, either the game did so phenomenally well, and based back to my previous thought that they were going to do better by having games only on PlayStation than basically, trying to spread it out and milk it from every other way they possibly can. Well, Arrowhead, this Helldivers live service like Marathon, they're not talking about multiplayer games. This is specific. Kada put a tweet out about it, but he included Helldivers 2. I'm like, dude, Helldivers 2 is multiplayer. They're talking single player only. Gameplay looks fine. Dismemberment and blood, it's crazy. Sony didn't censor that. My fear is the story and writing. Dude, the message is going to be there. Did you see the freaking characters in Wolverine? The enemies are like these shave head androgynous, like half black lesbian looking women. It's the most frightening thing ever. It's it's so bad. MBG says the Spider-Man 2 sales data might reveal why Sony's pulling away from PC. Over 16 million. This is what I'm talking about right here, guys. Over 16 million units sold on PS5 of Spider-Man 2, only 700,000 on Steam. PS5 version still selling between 100 and 200,000 monthly. Steam sales are stagnant. There's a lot of people who will consume whatever on PlayStation as long as it's an exclusive. All right. December says they take a whole year or more sometimes to re-release a game that's already been out. The hype train from marketing fully stopped by that time, while other hype trains are ongoing for current releasing titles. And they do it at full price. Of course, they underperform. I agree, but again, this is hard to argue with. And I know some of you guys don't like MBG. I don't follow him. I don't interact with him. I don't know anything about him other than I'm guessing a pony, Sony fanboy. But you really can't argue with those statistics. Sure. You release a game a year later, it's going to sell less copies on Steam. But hasn't the PC, the Steam release of Stellar Blade already overtaken the PlayStation release? So in that one regard, I think Stellar Blade has actually outsold the PlayStation release on PC. And if not outsold, I think it's close. PC New Spider-Man 2 was SBI garbage and had the time to learn that before it came to... Well, exactly. And on PC, you've got so many other options. The whole Sony has no games joke, the meme, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're forced to buy games for the system you have because you can only buy games that are on your system, you're going to settle for games that maybe are more subpar or that you wouldn't normally play because you realize, if I don't play this, what am I going to play, right? Sony games are so overpriced, that's why they don't sell on PC. I mean, but PC does get games on sale, even games from Sony. It's just a matter of you have to wait for those sales. But you're not wrong about the fact that those games tend to be like $60, $70 when they first release. Absolutely. I think Spider-Man, the first one, a couple years ago when I was gifted it, was gifted at full price, which was crazy because then like a week later it was on sale for like $15. It's nuts. A couple friends that are huge Sony ponies, they refuse to try any other system for gaming, keep trying to get me to come back to Sony just to play online with them. Well, just play games that have crossplay. I play PlayStation 5 because there was a powerful system for me to play. Yeah, I play third-party games. Again, it's not... I have no problem with people picking a PlayStation as their way of playing games. It's that, again, as somebody who doesn't care about the console war, I have no problem with how you play your games. It's the mentality that goes into it. That's the stupid part. Manlet Thorin saying PC gamers, when they can't play the newest over-the-shoulder interactive narrative experience starring an LGBTQ plus BIPOC who navigates a world composed entirely of yellow paint and narrow spaces they have to slowly squeeze through. Oh my god, dude. Holy shit, this is it right here. This is the tweet to end all tweets. This is nuts. That's gonna keep the kick dream alive. Equilibrium, dude. Discoverability on sites like Kick and Twitch, despite how long I've been on Twitch, discoverability on those sites is dead for anybody who's not botting. No, man, this tweet is a banger. That's like, if you could give this thing an award like on Steam or whatever, this is great. But then you get the ponies in here. From Puerto Rock 77. Unlike Xbox gamers, PS gamers did not like games going to PC. We never sided with the executives. We never pushed the idea. We never made it sound great. This is well known and many bashed or mocked PS games over it. In the end, we got what we wanted because we never co-signed. I want to be censored here? Well, keep it up, man. Just say something offensive on Kick and you might. I played PlayStation because of how Japanese says PlayStation. Oh, man. Oh, dude. All these guys are all the same, like the Blue Urkel. The Blue Urkel guy is the worst. If you ever talk to Cassie about Blue Urkel, she has got some stories about that dude. Holy shit. One of his orbiters is some dude who pretended to be a child or something. It's like some weird, creepy vibes, right? The Crap Gamer. There's a name. Ghost won't even be coming to PC. Sony owes PC gamers nothing at the end of the day. This is a brilliant effing move. Bravo, Sony. Holy shit, man. Yeah, Blue Urkel is a moron. And he's a creep, dude. Like Equilibrium says, the dude's a straight up creep. I mean, okay, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. I don't nothing more to add to this. Colin Moriarty, Mr. I'm a right-winger independent, so I get shit on by both sides. I don't think so. I will say this. If you think Sony is pulling back on PC because of the next Xbox, a piece of hardware that will not only sell substantially worse than Xbox Series, but would allow Sony to sell its games on a storefront without Microsoft receiving a penny, you're out to lunch. I own that I was wrong about Sony pushing into PC and Switch. I thought there would be more demand that would balance any ecosystem deficits by spreading the field, but demand clearly didn't exist requisite to the risk. As constituted, there were only diminishing returns. Later, McKinney. These are 40-year-olds. Oh, dude, it's creepy as hell, man. Pretty sure Crap used to be an Xbox fanboy. Really? That's crazy, man. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Some of these takes are wild. J. Barry Strife, another PlayStation fanboy, I'm pretty sure. It's just video games. Go where the games are if you truly love this. What does this mean? What does this mean? Go where the games are. My dude. Look up PS5 exclusives and then compare the same number of years to the amount of games that have come out on Steam. But take PC out of the entire equation. Compare the amount of games that have released by Nintendo and then on PlayStation. Yeah, I did go where the games are. PC. I don't understand. My buddy Broke Boy asked Colin why his game is multi-plat. Colin thought he was promoting him and followed him. Meanwhile, having most games and more variety and cheaper. YouTube's eating your messages. I'm sorry, Vernum. YouTube is asshole. YouTube is communist asshole. He said, we don't like your message. You'll get fucked. Yeah, all games end up on PC, whether emulation or deliberate. Equilibrium says join Kick. Y'all, I don't want people to have to make Kick accounts just to be on there, man. But if they want to, go for it. PC Master Race. I mean, you're not wrong, Mert. You're not wrong at all. Cran Muncher for sure. Oh no, it's doing the umlauts and stuff over Avernum's words. Are you doing that so you don't get censored? It's going to be blunt. These games that came out on PS5, most of them are straight up mid. That's not blunt. That's on. I mean, that's a very. I think that's a very. That's not like a hot take. That's actually a very mild take in my opinion. Stop crying, gamers. You have a PS5. Instead of that GPU or CPU, get a PS5 Pro. Thank you, and you're welcome. What? Who's he talking to? I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who play on PC who also own a PlayStation. I own an Xbox. I own a Nintendo. They're both the previous generation because upgrading those is stupid. Synth Potato. Mr. I will shill for any game that I feel like I'll get exclusivity on. Or, a media attention, let's say. Y'all joked way too much about the PS5 not having games. Now look what happened. End of an era, I guess. Now PS5 games will truly be PS5 only, seemingly forever. It would be funny. It would be funny if this all turned out to be like a bunch of BS, right? Yeah, Lugia, you can still find places that make physical copies of computer games, but it's extremely rare. Most people who play on computer, it's through Steam, and if not Steam, Epic. And if not Epic, the few people that use GOG for the couple games that they have, they buy them on GOG. Retarded potato. Well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to be nice. Damn it, I'm going to be nice. Okay. Legendary Drops quote tweeted him and said, yeah, PC players should have kept their mouths shut and patiently waited after everything was spoiled to buy a game a year fucking later. Let's just ignore how a year or a longer delay nukes anyone's interest or how there are other games to play. Sony did this to themselves. I love LD. Even though this bastard didn't read 2 streams in a row that I super chatted, didn't even acknowledge my super chats. That's what I'm talking about, guys. I still love LD. Don't give him shit. Good videos. Cool dude. But read your super chats, man. I don't like this narrative that PC players are at fault. Gaming content is a shared experience. It's online the minute it drops. Sony never ported the most demanded games, and their ports were a mixed bag of performance and bugs. We were always treated like a second-hand audience. Exactly. Synth Potato has you blocked for exposing the list post. Well, dude, they all do. All these guys all post the same shit, man. They won't launch on Steam because Sony can't fake the numbers on Steam the way they can on their own platform. You know the funny thing is it Kazan? I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name. The thing about it is you're not wrong, and a lot of people like the Colin Moriartys of the world who would at one time they'd say oh, these companies are lying, they're evil, these corporatist scumbags in America that are milking people dry, all this stuff, they're bad dudes. Oh, but Sony wouldn't lie about their numbers. It's oh, dude, LD and Endymion are not even in the same universe. I'm sorry. You can like Endymion, you can watch his content. I don't care. I don't watch his stuff anymore. LD is up here. Endymion's like down here. Okay. I mean, Legendary Drops. Yeah, it's not even close, guys. Like I said, you can still like Endymion, but that's neither here nor there. Decembro, good dude. Quote tweeted LD. Luckily, this isn't an essay, so we can actually read it pretty quickly. Says, also, there's an argument to be made in terms of raw interest too. Stellar Blade sold really well on Steam, for example. I'm one of the homies who acknowledges... I didn't know that Portuguese people knew the word homies. I'm one of the homies who acknowledges that Sony was on a roll during PS4 generation, but I think they overestimate how worth those same properties are now, especially after some disappointing sequels. The industry has changed, the very PlayStation vibe too. They used to be very player-centric. PS5 era has been different. It has changed in various ways. I'd say like the PS5 era. I don't use the word toxic much because it's a stupid overused word like misogyny and Nazi and everything else, guys. But I would say that this current generation of PlayStation, the people that consume their content, the I don't know, the whole vibe is it is kind of toxic. LD. Here's the thing, and it's not even that LD can get like access to things, because LD has a lot of people in the industry who hate him because of the fact that he calls it like it is. He just doesn't focus on the woke stuff or politics because he wants to be mainstream. He wants to make sure. I thought December was Filipino, but he's in Portugal, so I don't know, man. So I don't fault LD for not going like hard anti-woke and this and that. Look, that's not for everybody, and to be honest, unfortunately, there are varying degrees of that where, for me, I might be anti-woke, but then I'll see something that I'm fine with, and somebody who's far more anti-woke than me is going to call me a leftist communist shill. There's no winning sometimes, right? So I think LD just stays out of that kind of that realm or sphere, and I don't fault the guy for it. He doesn't want to get super political. I mean, he's obviously... You listen to him talk, and you know what he thinks, you know what he feels about this kind of stuff, and he'll tell you straight up he doesn't get access to these things because he criticizes the hell out of the games industry, right? He's just not going to say it. And I think that there's a certain element to that might turn off a lot of people. And on the same hand, it's going to attract a bigger audience for him because he's more centrist, I guess. I don't know, guys. It's like, I don't want to like dissect the guy at this point. I like his content, Endymion acknowledges woke exists, but Endymion has also had some really stupid takes. So what do you do with that? Yeah, even his name is December in Portuguese, right? Okay. Let's see here. It says the industry's changed. I'll be yapping about this soon on a video, fellas. I got a game. I'm also making a video on scheduled for late Thursday or early Friday, so expect this one late Friday or early Saturday. That's good to know. December, when I have a bad day where there's not much content to watch on YouTube, December fills up like a 45-minute time slot for me. It's pretty handy. Oh, Nick Marseille, I think is how you pronounce his name. Marcel? I'm gonna go with Marseille, like French. PC gamers had their chance to show Sony the potential of third-party publishing, and they failed. Okay, we're back to blaming people again. Don't you love this, guys? They spent more time bragging on Twitter about how PlayStation has no more exclusives than they did playing them. You were nothing but data for what was always a dumb experiment. What a twat waffle. Imagine thinking your games are so good that you're going to like have this high grade, this moral superiority over everybody else. It's a consumer mentality, dude. Let's try this, Mr. Nick, Mr. PS, 5 lover. 20,000 games in 2025 alone on Steam. How are we supposed to buy every game that exists? What a retarded argument. And Demion has a nose ring. Oh, God. I didn't know that. I did not know that. All right, this guy here, though. PlayStation fans today. Look, I love computer parts. Love. You guys know that feeling? Yeah, Stellar Blade sold quite well. It did very well. You guys know that feeling? And this is not a flex, okay? None of my computers are $10,000 computers. I had to build one after another to salvage computers that died and stuff over the last few years. But there is no better feeling in the world than ordering some computer parts and getting that in those boxes they come in that are all full color, and they open them up and there's the styrofoam in there, or the foam that keeps them from moving around, and you got them sealed in packages, and then you pull the plastic, the little clear tape off of them. No better feeling in the world. Never once has it occurred to me when I'm unpacking a GPU or some RAM sticks or whatever to hold them up to my face and take a selfie. The PS5 gets warm enough and it gets cold when... Oh my God, that's funny. I mean, I love gun parts and computer parts as much as anybody. I will take pictures of that shit when it first gets in, but I'm not hugging it and taking a selfie of it. Like, dude, this is some massively soy energy coming off the screen here. At the same time, you also get people shouting elitist when you're discussing, computer components. Exactly. Don't care if my PC is better than someone else's. I just care if I'm improving it. Right. It's like, my computer case, you guys can see in the background, right here behind my chair, the sticker case, right? The panel off my first case that I had for 6 years before I swapped all my parts into this case and then had to buy all new fans because I didn't realize my fans weren't going to work in that case. What a disaster that was over Christmas. But the point is, I didn't do that to gloat about my case. I did that because for 6 years, I had this really shitty $35 computer case that I did everything I could to make it look better. And then I just decided to let the kids put stickers all over it. And then I put stickers on it, whatever. So when I put everything in this case over here, I'm like, this is for me. This is 100% for me. I didn't do this for anybody else. You know, he is Swedish. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Can they ask the Sony fanboys ask Sony why they're charging money for Marathon? Look, I'm not opposed to the idea of not having free-to-play games if you can reasonably price your games, and if you're going to have them monetized, reasonably monetize them, and make a game worth spending a certain amount of money on. I'm actually okay with games not being free-to-play as long as the game is reasonably priced and it's a good quality game. I love Lamp. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it just, all this shit drives you crazy. That's why LD and Laura Fryer are the ones I highly praise, because they can see the issues surrounding the industry that making it. Yeah, dude, Laura Fryer is awesome, man. Take it down. Okay. Gaz recently joined Insider Gaming. I don't know if Gaz is so much a PlayStation fanboy or if he's just in general a gamer. I've seen a lot of different takes from him, man. I've seen a lot of different takes. I don't know. But Gaz says, if I'm not getting Saros, Ghost of Yotei, or Wolverine on PC, guess what I'm going to do? I'm buying a PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't know if this is a I don't know if this is him trolling them.
I declare
I don't know.
bankruptcy.
Twat as in hat, not twat as in
hat,
cut.
not twat as in caught. Bloody Yanks.
What did I do? What did I say wrong? Feels like sarcasm? Yeah, I think he might be an Xbox fanboy. I don't know. He was arguing with Fratanga about all this stuff for a while. But I'm like, I was thinking about it because you see these guys talking about the games that are coming out that are going to be PlayStation exclusives. Ghost Diote, don't give a shit about. Wolverine, it's going to be a piece of shit. And that's not because it's a PlayStation game. That's because it looks like garbage. The bald bitch on Intergalactic, right?
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Jeff Champion over on Twitch, probably a bot, but if you're not, thank you for following. I have to remember to check Twitch chat periodically from time to time. And then, well, another God of War game, but this isn't even, like, guys, the old God of War games exist on PC. Twat? No, twat, man. We say twat over here. We don't say twat. Who in the US says twat? Rest in peace, Highguard, will miss you. I mean, I feel like maybe 200 people might miss it. Maybe 300. The live service LGBTQIA garbage is exclusive on PS5. Say it ain't so. It's pronounced twat. Just thought I'd help out. Aussie and Britway is twat rhymes with hat and cat, not hot or caught. What? So now I have to change the way I say twat waffle? Your X timeline is garbage. Don't link that shit on Discord. I'll try not to, man. Old God of War games on PC, only with emulator. Oh, they're not on PC? I thought they had them on PC now. I guess not. Interesting. So you can play like the current generation, like the last 3 or 4 of those games. Okay. All right. So not the original ones. You have to play those on PlayStation. But then this one here. This is the one that cracks me up. Only on PlayStation. Days Gone. No. Days Gone you can buy on PC. Days Gone's not getting a sequel. I don't know what he's talking about. Ghost of Tsushima. Not on PlayStation. It's on PC. Did very well on PC. The God of War games are on PC. The current ones are, right? Highguard had a lot of potential. I think it was released too early. Should have been. Dude, Jeff Champion, whether or not people liked the game or what they were going for, I absolutely said this from the jump. I said I 100% agree with you. The game should have had an open playtest, some sort of beta. They should have done that because they did not listen to criticism. They didn't listen to feedback until it was too late. They rushed releasing the game. They 100%. So again, whether people liked or hated the game is irrelevant. Clearly not enough people enjoyed it for it to keep going. I personally didn't find it that look, I played it for 4 hours. I didn't go back to it because it was like, whatever. Released 6 to 12 months too soon, right? Well, and it released too soon, but guys, it also released a few years too late. Can we be honest about that? I mean, a new hero shooter? I don't know. Horizon Zero Dawn, also on PC as far as I remember. Last of Us Part 2, also on PC. As I recall, didn't do as well on PC. Marvel Spider-Man on PC. I don't know what this guy thinks he's trying to prove, but Wolverine, again, Intergalactic Heretic Prophet, and then this game here, Saros. Guys, I have watched a lot of trailers and videos for this game. It looks like Indian Forspoken. I'm sorry. Like, come on. I don't... Who is the... It looks like that Returnal game and Forspoken had an Indian baby. Who is this game for? This is like one of those games that people are going to like watch for or play for the cutscenes. I don't get it. I don't understand. They seem paralyzed by fear before the release. Terrified of any feedback. Yeah, Saros looks like a fake AI game. Thank you. Yeah, Indian Returnal. It's cut out copy of Returnal. I'm glad I'm not the only one that sees it, because I'm looking at this game going, it doesn't feel like an original game. It feels like something that's like a copy of something else that we don't need or don't want. It's just crazy. Let me see here. Your average PlayStation fanboy deserves to eat. Okay, wow. Okay, and this is Cassie responding to somebody who said another PC pedo mad that she can't play our games. What is with this? You know, actually, Jeff Champion, I never played the God of War games. I followed this. I understand the lore, and like it's like kind of like Game of Thrones. I paid attention to the story and all that. So even though I didn't watch them myself, I'd read about the storyline and what happened with each character, watch a few scenes here and there. So God of War, the casting actually seemed pretty decent, and up until we saw that reveal, that shot of Kratos and his son, and then I'm like, I'm not feeling so good. Like, hey R2, I might give it a try. Look, I didn't like the post. Oh shit. Well, dude, I try to not like all my posts that I'm bookmarking in case I'm using them in a video or whatever. I'll like them after the fact. I always forget, dude. No, Oblivion, it's still in the pipeline. That's a game that's at least a year or two out. It's still in the pipeline. Oh, you guys had to agree on the pronunciation of twat? Okay, fine. Whatever. Whatever, man. I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm kind of hopeful that the God of War... I'm also hopeful that Warhammer will be good, but God only knows, right? We saw what happened with Witcher. But yeah, I mean, this is the level of like psychotic behavior from people who are like these PlayStation fanboys, calling you a pedo because you play games on PC. Like, what the hell does that even mean? You know, Jeff Champion, I 100% agree with you there. I actually made a video crapping on the Fallout show before it came out. And I literally had to eat my word. Well, not literally, you know what I'm saying. Pretty much literally had to eat my words because I actually enjoyed the Fallout show. I know there's a lot of Fallout fans who don't like it because it's not very accurate to the lore, and it's kind of... People say it has millennial writing, and I do see parts of it. I get it. I get why people are irritated by the Fallout show. I enjoyed it. The second season was definitely way better than the first two. Long as Henry gets to be in charge, we'll see. We'll see. Season 1 still garbage. 2 is great. Yeah, Season 2 is actually really good. I liked Season 1, but it definitely wasn't as good as Season 2. So, I mean, I got hope. Who knows? Vertanga saying Sony's strategy on PC didn't work because they never ported the shit people actually wanted. Hell, most of the PlayStation stuff people wanted hasn't even been ported to PS5. Last of Us 2, Spider-Mid 2, God of War, no Infamous, no Killzone, no Jack Collection. Yeah, that's a tough one. There's a lot of games that they could have ported, but they haven't. Oh no, it's Alex says PlayStation had their chance. Oh, this is in response to Nicola. PlayStation had their chance to show PC gamers why they should buy their games and they failed. Sony spent more time locking gamers out with PSN, charging full price for old games, and had many bad ports. They were expecting fanfare, but realized PC gamers don't eat the slop. Yeah, Killzone hasn't been a thing for a long time. Killzone is one of those games I've heard about that I never got to play because I didn't have a PlayStation. But that was one of those games that actually that was one of the ones I really wanted a PlayStation for, because Killzone legitimately looked good. Fortenga also posted this and said, imagine if none of these PlayStation rumors are true and everyone just grifted for nothing today. I think that would be funny. No, Cage, the general consensus among most people, the audience and everything, is that Fallout Season 2 is better than 1. I thought 1 was fine. Actually, I looked forward to it every week watching it. But I can understand why people liked 2 better than 1. There's still parts, guys, there's still parts of both Season 1 and 2 of Fallout that I couldn't stand. Maximus, the black guy, the guy that's, he's just an idiot. He has like the IQ of a snail, okay? He's aimless and hopeless and has no idea what he wants. He has zero motivation other than, I want to be a nice guy, but I don't have a clue in hell how I'm going to accomplish that, right? So... it's one of those things where it's like, I recognize that people are going to have different opinions. Stop. Oh, no, this isn't spoilers. Cage, I'm not giving you spoilers. I'm saying is, you get this early on in the first season. Dude, he's the same character as in the first season. This is not a spoiler for Season 2. He's a nice guy that wants to be nice, but doesn't have any idea how to actually do it. That's just his character. He has... No, I'm not going to get into spoilers or details. He just is genuinely... yeah, he's the new Star Wars guy. Exactly. He's the new John Boyega. Oh my God, he is. Oh shit, he is the new John Boyega. Oh my God. That's crazy. That is crazy. Main issue is where they started with the Warhammer timeline, following what Peter Jackson did with Lord of the Rings, not a lot of CGI. Yeah. No, Equilibrium, he's a good actor. He is a good actor, exactly. I don't know if I care about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I know everyone's been raving about it, but I generally have no use for the Game of Thrones universe. I got the prequel books, not technically not the prequel books. I got the 2-book saga of The Witcher finished last night. So now I've read those 2 plus Blood of Elves and part of Time of Contempt. What I'm debating on is, should I stop reading Time of Contempt and go back to the original prequel book that I also had just recently picked up, or should I'm just going to continue reading Time of Contempt, I think. It's great. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure everyone's been saying it's amazing. It's awesome. I don't know. First season Last of Us was pretty decent, then the second season wasn't good at all. Yeah, Jeff Champion, I kind of feel like the seasons of the show went the same way as the games for a lot of people. Now, to be honest, I can't stand Pedro Pascal, and Bella Ramsey is unfortunately painful to look at. And ironically, neither one of them look like the parts that they were playing. So it makes it where I generally just don't even want to try watching it. I don't know. Last of Us has always given me kind of a weird vibe. I don't know. So yeah, no, Eric Kane didn't have a bad take with this article. His point with the article, I'm going to be a dad, is that the lore that they created for Marathon, the atmosphere that they created, the entire vibe, good, bad, and otherwise, they created something that would have been really interesting to play, really enjoyable to play if it had a campaign or a solo gameplay mode of some sort. And unfortunately, with it being PvPvE all the time, there's not a lot to get people invested in the world that they've created. Now, again, I'm going to say again, not everybody enjoys the look of Marathon. I don't. It's painful to look at. It hurts my eyes to play. The items being so muddy, it's really hard to make sense out of what you're looking at. That being said, if they leaned more into the lore, sure, I could understand people actually enjoying it, right? Potato talk. See, Jeff Champion, I actually didn't like... The gameplay of Marathon was fine. I feel like maybe it played more like Destiny than Halo. I love the Halo franchise. Dude, I beat all the original Halo games on Legendary. Like, that was my early teen childhood. I don't connect the way that Halo felt with what I played of Marathon. Granted, I only played 3 or 4 hours of Marathon in the Server Slam, but nothing about it made me feel like I was playing Halo. And I get it, it's a different game, different universe, different all that. But a lot of people have said that it felt like Halo. I'm like, for me, it wasn't. Nothing about it felt like Halo. I mean, if you go back and look at the original Marathon game that they used as inspiration for parts of Halo, the original Marathon looks more like Halo than it does like the new Marathon game. There are people that were complaining about the time to kill in the game and all that kind of... I had no problem with that. The combat was not the problem the game had. I mean, Marathon, the combat's... I'm fine with the combat. It's good. It's whatever. If it was just... If the look of the game was a little bit different and everything was a little bit less muddy and confusing, I 100% would not be crapping on Marathon. Painful to look at. Marathon's the Bella Ramsey of video games. I didn't say that. I did not say that. The PvE is too strong in Marathon. I mean, I played as a Rook, and I played 3 matches as a Rook one time. No, I played more than that. I played 4 matches as a Rook, I think. The very first time somebody set a trap for me and sniped me within seconds of loading into the map. Once I was killed by the actual bots. Another time I died at extract, trying to extract when there was another team of players there. And then there was a time I extracted as the Rook. So I think it's... Oh, cool, Empress. I'll get that set up in a little bit. Yeah, I mean... You're going to finish Reloaded. Oh my god. I thought it was boring. Look, Highguard and Marathon are exactly the same for me for different reasons. Neither one of those games had anything about them that I really wanted to go back and play. That's just the easiest way to say it, That's just... Oh, no, see, DB Wild, she's Bulgarian. They don't take kindly to being raided after their long history of invasions from parts of Asia and all that. I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't take kindly to that. So the problem, he says, with Marathon, it's all PvPvE. There's no campaign to get us invested in the world, and this is a game with a ton of lore and interesting stuff to learn about, but we have no narrative framework, aka a campaign, in which to do that. I think that sells the game and its fans short. This thought occurred to me while playing the Server Slam and when I watched the new 8-minute cinematic trailer. The funny thing is, I put the cinematic trailer in one of my videos, my second to last video I put on YouTube, and the cinematic trailer was just a trailer. Like, for me, honestly, I don't know. I've seen so many cinematic trailers from games like Apex Legends and stuff over the years that I just don't really... I don't know. They're both okay games, nothing amazing. I would also want to give these games a chance because I'm getting tired of the same thing. So, Jeff Champion, we were just talking about that earlier in the stream. It's crazy that's kind of like a take that, like, Burnt Peanut had that take, right? I don't want to play Call of Duty 96 or I don't want to play Battlefield 105. There are, I mean, I don't know if you're playing on PC or on console or whatever, but there are so many other games that are not part of a mainstream franchise to play that they don't have to be Call of Duty or Battlefield, you know? I think that's just like, you got to think more outside the box. Like, most of the games I play are not Call of Duty. I don't play Call of Duty. The only mainstream games that I really play are Arc Raiders and Apex Legends. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, man. Bold of Burnt Peanut to assume Call of Duty would get to number 96. I mean, God, after Call of Duty Black... I mean, I have never been a fan of the Black Ops games. I prefer more like the Modern Warfare. I love World War II games. Like, World War II games, that's my shit right there. I can never get bored with World War II games, ever. But there's got to be, you know, a way to get people to branch out and stop thinking that Call of Duty is the only other option that exists, or Battlefield, I guess. He said, I also like more traditional PvP modes on top of the extraction element. In fact, I'd say completely separate from the extraction element with separate gear available that isn't part of your stat. See, now he's asking them to do what Tarkov took 7 years to do. You guys remember that Tarkov didn't have a offline mode that you could play with buddies for like 7 years or something? I think that was. It was crazy. I mean, Wise Ass Duck, I might be getting that wrong. I can't remember. But they finally added like a PvE co-op mode or something like a year before the Steam release. Hell Let Loose is awesome. Hell Let Loose is a great game. One of these days, I'm going to stop yapping about it and go back to playing it again. He said this would be a great way to hone your PvP skills without dying. Okay, Eric Kane has clearly never played Escape from Tarkov. Because my God, how many of us who played Tarkov said this exact same thing, okay? Now, to be fair. Oh, no, what he's talking about is actually what oh, okay. No, he is talking about what Tarkov had. Completely separate from the extraction element with separate gear available that isn't part of your state. Oh, yeah. This is the offline, like what we had on Tarkov. Then you figure out a way to get players better high-tier loot, because the longer you're in the game, the better the loot gets, but nobody wants to spend time looting up for that. I mean, Jeff Champion, the one thing I said before with Highguard only having 6 people on the map was, I'm like, you're asking people to spend, to have a server with 6 people playing one match for 35 minutes. You're asking people on Marathon to stick around to the very end of the raid. Granted, I don't mind sticking around to the end of a raid. I can't tell you how many times on Arc Raiders I have been downed at extraction, crawling out with no time left on the clock. It's past the deadline for getting out, but I hit the extract button right before the clock stopped, you know? No, Smeg, what he's talking about. What he is talking about is a mode that they have on Tarkov that has been there for a long time, where you can go play the maps, fight the bosses, you can set all the elements you want, enemies, no enemies, whatever, and you die. It's like a training mode, right? You can do that to learn all the maps. You don't level up, you get no experience, you get no skill, but no skill points, but you can get experience yourself as the person playing the game. I think that's what he's talking about. But yeah, they didn't have a co-op PvE mode in Tarkov until recently, I think. They planned for PvE co-op after 1.0, but because of the single-player Tarkov mode, they changed the direction to release PvE sooner, a whole year before release. Yeah, there you go. No, not journo mode. It's Smeg. Normally, I would agree with you that it's game journo mode, but Tarkov is the only game that I would say it is monumentally important to play offline, to learn the maps, learn how the enemies fight, because that game is a freaking nightmare. Like, Tarkov is a hellish nightmare to play if you don't know where the scavs are, if you don't know where the bosses are, if you don't know where other players are coming into the map from. You'll load into Tarkov with your kit that you could barely afford to put together, and within 30 seconds of spawning in, some dude's gonna dome you and you're fucked, you know? He didn't reference Tarkov, but he might not know about that. Maybe he's never played Tarkov. But the thing he described here is exactly the offline mode that you can play on Tarkov. Oh, dude, Tarkov's a hellish experience if you don't even know how to extract from... Dude, learning where the extracts are, learning how some work and how some... It's insane, man. I'm assuming he doesn't know that that's a thing on Tarkov, or if he does, he didn't specify that it was like how Tarkov has it, which is crazy because people are comparing Marathon to Tarkov. So why he wouldn't reference it in the article, I don't know. He says, weirdly, I've never felt this way about Arc Raiders, probably because in solos in that game, there are lots of friendly, companionable behavior that makes it all a lot more chill. Only if you're playing on a PvE server that you have to avoid getting into firefights with people for about 10 matches to even get to. That makes it a lot more chill, and probably because the world is just less interesting. I mean, I get what he's saying. Dude, I have not played Hell Is Us, but it looks pretty good. I think they're following more of the Destiny route. Marathon will probably be good after 2 years, like Taken King and Forsaken for D2. Maybe. But then you still have to... Okay. You still have to enjoy the look. You still have to want to play the game, right? They could do what Apex used to do to give us more, where they had these items and they were story-driven. Apex doesn't do it anymore. Oh, yeah, Jeff, I was just talking to my son about that because he started playing Apex a few years ago. But I told him, I'm like, dude, there used to be these little story modes that you could play by yourself, where you'd be like fighting prowlers and bots and stuff. Yeah. Those were interesting for a little while. Sudden urge to play Spyro. Let me see. I think it's even worse when you load in and you shoot someone, and if you're someone that played over other FPS games where they die after one shot or so. Oh, right. There's Ballistics, and Tarkov. Yeah. Streamers need their mainstream streamer games for revenue. And I do not care at all. I'm happy with my single-player games. You know, it's funny. I don't think that, I get that Arc Raiders and other games that are cooperative between big streamers, they're going to have their fans watching, and there's going to have that bleed over from other big channels, and they're going to have the funny moments and the viral moments they can upload to TikTok. I get all that, guys. But what I don't quite understand is, like, I don't know. The only time that I remember really getting involved in a streamer playing a multiplayer game, specifically because it was a multiplayer game, was Arma 3 with the Vietnam DLC that you can purchase, that map, that server. Because they would play this thing like they were straight up in the 60s in Vietnam, or 70s, I should say. And they played it like hardcore military style. It was hilarious to watch. All right. But I get what he's saying about the world of Arc Raiders being a lot less interesting. I care a lot less about the story of Arc Raiders, and the gameplay and the actual feel of the game is so much better than just the story. The story part of it's fine. It's cool. It's whatever. But I get what he's saying. He thinks that the world of Marathon that they've created is more interesting, and I understand that, even though it's more terrifying to look at. I don't really care about a campaign in Arc Raiders, whereas a campaign in Marathon feels like it would add a ton. It would also give players who aren't hardcore extraction shooter fans something else to do. You might think that's crazy. Why would Bungie add stuff to a game that would fundamentally alter guys, I'm getting tired. Fundamentally alter the nature of the game. Player base, for one thing. Having a bigger player base, even if a lot of those players aren't super interested in playing extraction shooters, would be healthy for a game that needs a large player base to survive as a live service title. Players who enjoyed the solo campaign or who mostly wanted to play PvP modes would have a higher chance of drifting over to the extraction mode as well. Yes, this would divert some resources away from the main mode, but I think it would balance out in the end by creating a broader, healthier community. I don't think he's wrong here necessarily. So this is the part I quoted in my article, or my video. As it stands, I worry that this game is simply too hardcore for a lot of casual fans, and the lousy onboarding will almost certainly mean a lot of people give up quickly due to information overload, the sweaty gameplay, and the bad UI. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my prognostication and wish list all wrapped up in one tiny loot icon. Because, Jeff, that would require more money. More money, more time developing, Yes, Spyro the Greek Dragon, yes. Telling son how games used to have stories in them. Oh my god, man. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think he's actually... I think Eric Kane is on to something here. I think Eric should have addressed mentioning how Marathon 1994 and Marathon 2 were single-player games. I mean, yeah. Look, Eric Kane is like the only good journalist left. I mean, Insider Gaming has some good journalists. Tom Henderson's pretty good. Eric Kane is like one of the only solid games journalists left. Okay, because he doesn't get into the politics. Look, he's a lefty. He's a Democrat, and he doesn't get into like bashing right wingers or MAGA or calling everybody who's a gamer an incel or a chud. He just tells it like it is. Look, game good, game bad. Here's why. Here's how to fix those kind of things. So I found Delta Force so interesting because they tried out other game modes with having extraction shooters. I still haven't. I've got Delta Force in my Steam library, I think, but I've never played it. Yeah, that would help to fit his point, but I think he's probably one of those situations where maybe it feels like beating a dead horse. I don't know. I think I've got Delta Force. Yeah, right here. That's why I've never played it. 135 gigabytes? My God, why are all these games so big? Holy crap. Delta Force is garbage. Marathon feels like Destiny Extract DLC without the lore and backgrounds. This is what Bungie wanted. Sorry, Sony. Horses are a top. What? Why are you talking about horses? I actually don't know, but Marathon lore is lore heavy. I mean, that's what everyone's saying. Everyone's saying that between the new game and the original game, there's a lot of lore. I don't know. I imagine there is based on what I saw of it. So here's the weird one, guys. Here is the weird one. Skillup. Skillup is somebody who I only know as being described as a shill. I've heard lots of people call Skillup a shill over the course of a long time. What's weird is that this video is not going over super well for him. The like to dislike ratio, not great, especially for a million sub channel. But the comments here, let's go by. Oh yeah, we'll do top comments. So people are criticizing him for saying that Arc Raiders has an engaging quest structure. Again, Arc's engaging quest structure. I love Arc Raiders, but I'd certainly not call its quest structure engaging. It's probably the one aspect of the game that needs to improve on the most. I'd actually agree with that. You made garlic bread? Damn, I could go for some garlic bread. They turned it into a Chinese mobile game? Dude, okay. There was a game. Wise Ass Duck, you've probably played this. You probably are going to recognize this game. Where was this one at? It was made by this Russian developer team. It was basically, it wasn't a scam. It was, I can't remember. Guys, this is so bad. I don't even have that many games, but I cannot remember the name of the game to save my life. Let me scan through here. It was so bad that I played it one time for like 2 hours and then uninstalled it. Oh no, Arc Raiders, dude, there is risk and reward. What I will say about Arc Raiders as opposed to Escape from Tarkov, it's not as punishing. You can truly play Arc Raiders any way you want to. If you want to go PvP heavy, shoot people. I mean, dude, people that say that there's no PvP in Arc Raiders are being disingenuous. If you want PvP, you shoot people in Arc Raiders, right? You see somebody, you shoot. You will be in PvP heavy lobbies. There's no way that you'll want to, like, there are so many players on most of the maps. You go to Stella Montes on a PvP server, you are going to have your ass kicked. It's crazy. Chill up. But you absolutely are right that the stakes don't feel as high in Arc Raiders because I would say what happens is it's not as punishing if you don't get out. Sure, you get a rare blueprint, you don't have it in your safe pocket. If you have a bunch of loot that's worth a bunch of stuff you need for quests and you die, that sucks. It really sucks. But it's not the same thing as with Escape from Tarkov where you're terrified. I mean, Escape from Tarkov, guys. I played it consistently off and on for about a year. I've had it for like 5 years now. I only spent about 1 year playing it semi-consistently. I was terrified of going into a raid and losing all my stuff. That's how like crazy the stakes are in Tarkov compared to Arc Raiders. I still get mad when I lose stuff on Arc Raiders, but it's not the same. All right, Empress, no worries. See you in a bit. Let me see here. Where was this game? Guys, I will figure it out. I cannot remember the name of this game, though. And I'm starting to get that part of the evening where oh my God, it's midnight? Oh, you guys didn't tell me it was midnight. Okay, hang on. I will find it. It was a first-person shooter. Where is that? Maybe they got rid of the game entirely. It should still be in my games, though. Caliber! Here it is. This game sucked, man. This game was ass. Thanks, DB Wild. Appreciate it. Dark Zone and Division, aka my PTSD is hitting hard. Yo, why is that stuff? You know about Caliber? I figured you'd know something about this game. Thoughts on the Overwatch rebrand? I think it's stupid. Now, granted, I'm not a Overwatch player. Overwatch is not my style of game at all. From what I understand of the Overwatch rebrand, it's a weird thing to do. And it still seems to be getting a fair amount of negativity, a lot of negative criticism and stuff. I'd have to play it for myself to really have an opinion on Overwatch. But the whole thing where they dropped the Overwatch 2 and now it's all just Overwatch, I think that's a terrible marketing idea, but whatever. They can do whatever they want to. So yeah, Skillup, I guess, is getting attacked over this. Big Fry even came back and said the reaction to Skillup's video on Marathon is exactly why I don't want to make a video on it. I'm completely meh on the game, but if I don't praise it or shit on it, the comments will be filled with bullshit I don't even care to read. See, here's the thing. Where I'm at with Marathon, I don't mind getting shit on. I will play into the Concord 3 stuff. I will play into the memes. Even though deep down, I don't believe Marathon is going to flop. Long term, will it turn out to not be financially profitable? Very possibly. Quite likely could be. But do I think it's going to be the most abysmal flop, like a Concord-like flop? Probably not, guys. It's not likely. Doesn't mean that I won't see you like this post. Come on, man. You gotta cut me some slack. Playing Arc Raiders after experiencing the proximity chat alone makes it superior to Marathon. Dude, Arc Raiders, the proximity chat is beautiful. It is the most fun experience. The people are either psychotic or helpful or nice or assholes, and it's a wonderful mixture of all of it. It's great. Likes big fries and it cannot lie. Let me see. I know Overwatch numbers went up big time after the rebrand, but my issue was they didn't add any new maps or anything, just 5 new characters. Right. Trust no one. Trust no one. Dude, I haven't been shooting people in forever on Arc, and I came down. Okay, so I was on Spaceport. No, not Spaceport. I was on Stellamontis. So Stellamontis, if you don't know, on Arc Raiders is a PvP heavy map. So even on a PvE friendly server, you can still get knifed in the back, metaphorically, because there's no knives on Arc Raiders. There should be, though. But you can still get stabbed in the back by somebody who you think is friendly on Stellamontis. There was this dude, I got to the extract, this little train, and there's a guy that was getting on the extract, and he's got this body next to him. I'm like, dude, did you kill that person? He's like, no. And I just slowly back around the corner. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take the next train. Caliber had a crazy amount of development. I remember following the progress of the game since pre-alpha. They even had a Kalishnikov company giving them full support. That's crazy. And then, of course, you get people attacking Co-Carnage, who I don't even like, but, you know, whatever. No, Jeff, you can absolutely... Dude, there's a huge population of people on Arc. The servers are loaded full of people. If you play trios, you will be constantly running into other players. The Arc enemies, believe it or not, are actually harder than the ones on Marathon. And there's so much more going on I don't know, man. And I could be wrong. Arc Raiders might not be the best game on the planet for some people. But generally, dude, I don't know anybody who's played Arc Raiders who hasn't thought the game's awesome. My problem with Marathon. Well, given the fact that he's holding his face, I'm going to say it's because it strains his eyes. But this guy, John Carlo, this is one of these Marathon shills I've been running into for forever. I'm sorry, I really like you, Co, but this isn't fair. You didn't give the game a legitimate chance. You played for an hour at most, didn't understand the systems or mechanics of the game. You simply didn't like it because you went in with the mindset that you hated it. Again, hey, Cragfire. Again, go back and ask the founder of Bungie what he thought about gamers and their opinions on games. 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes to make them want to play the game. Yeah, Jeff, exactly. Exactly. Like I said, the game played fine. I found in Marathon, I was playing through the game, and I was generally having a decent time enjoying myself, playing the game. And then I'd get done with the match, I'd extract or I'd die, and then it's like, oh god, I'm back at these menus again. Like, holy shit. It was awful. If it's red, it's dead. PvPers know this. I hate that both sides want to have one or another in the dedicated PvE or PvP group. Dude, Smeg, the way I look at it with Arc Raiders, you can love or hate the way that they've done it with the aggression-based matchmaking, but the reality is, the way that they've done it, you truly can play the game however you want to. And if you want to go be a rat, if you want to get into a PvE server and start shooting people, you can do that too. You're still going to be going back to a PvP server if you do that, but they're also going to be doing wiping the loot, something that Tarkov did because they were testing the game. Tarkov's not even doing the wipes anymore, where every season they wipe your loot and every 6 months you have to start from nothing, right? Yeah, Jeff, I didn't play enough of Marathon to get to the point where I really paid attention to the overheating mechanics and all that. If I could have stomached looking at the game longer, I would have played Marathon more. I would have given it more time. I played a Highguard for 4 hours. I think I played Marathon for 3. I just couldn't take it anymore, man. I tried. Tarkov did wipes because they were testing the game. It was easy to implement, very divisive, and pushed away a lot of casual players. Again, these are decisions that Marathon's making that I think, once again, are going to limit their audience to an even smaller scope of people, right? They're making it a smaller and smaller group of people that are even going to want to play their game. So this is where like all these numbers originated from, guys. This Kerry Golom guy, I don't know. I think this is the first place I saw these numbers. He said, going over the numbers for Marathon, wishlist data, pre-order charts, and Server Slam CCU data, I'm currently thinking Steam will have a 40,000 concurrent user player base on launch week of 100,000 copies sold. 6-year product burn at $200 to $300 million. They need to sell, or production burn, they need to sell 7 to 11 million copies to break even. It looks bleak for Bungie. You know, Jeff, I'm not even like sure what the crossover is going to be. I mean, I'll play it. My kids and I, that's, despite the fact that I hate the modern look of Apex, I still play it because damn, it's fun and my kids enjoy it. And then I'm raging half the time and then they don't want to play with me because I'm raging. To make the difference simple, I can watch someone play Ark. I can watch with Marathon without my, I can't watch Marathon without my eyes bleeding. Exactly. Big Fry is your job. You're the FPS guy. This is your first day on the internet and YouTube and shit. Next is not the real world anyways. It's Bungie's name only. Destiny 2. Yeah, Matt, I mean, I don't know. I've made plenty of videos where people shit on me or post something on Twitter and people shit on me. And it's like, that's part of the internet, guys. You get shit on from time to time. I'm not going to not share an opinion just because I'm afraid of getting shit on. I don't know. Big Fry doesn't tend to hold back, though. I mean, he's very critical of a lot of developers and a lot of games. I know, Jeff, but that's the thing that I the whole free store, free to play game versus I would rather, I said this earlier in the stream, I would rather a game be good at launch and be priced reasonably. And if they want to have microtransactions in the game, optional, but have other ways for you to also unlock skins and all that, have those as an option also. And then just let the game do what it does, you know? I'm not a fan of telling people you have to make your game free to play or you have to price it. They're going to monetize their game however they want to monetize it. And they're going to take the risk with the reward and all that stuff too. But I don't know that making it free to play makes much of a difference because then they're just going to monetize their skins out the ass. So at that point, you're better off if you enjoy the game. $40, although it's expensive, is reasonable for what games are these days. It's kind of my take on it. I don't know. Yeah, see, exactly, Jeff. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with the whole $40. Free to play has too much risk involved, right? And I don't fault. Look, I'm back in the day when I was a kid, where Lion King on the Super Nintendo. Lion King was Super Nintendo. Lion King was $70 at release on a Super Nintendo game back in the day. I have no problem with people putting a price tag on something and saying this is what this thing is worth, but it better be worth it. It sure as hell better be worth it. You know. Self-insert meme, daddy chill. Marathon would be better if they lowered the entry point to 30, maybe. And I think a lot of people are going to wait, and if they are interested, they might wait for a sale. Visit your local fit girl today and pay nothing. I didn't say it. Smeg said it. I said nothing. I said nothing. Anyways, guys, I got to wrap this up because it's after midnight now. I'm going to raid Empress's channel for those of you who are still going to be up for a while. She is suffering through playing Relooted. I don't know why. I don't know why you would do that to yourself, but we're going to go over there. I remember just original Nintendo games were 30 to 40 to $50 each, and not many of them were worth it. But see, Crag, the thing was, back in the day, people would do this whole, well, video games used to be no, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. You got a finished product on a cartridge that you could play whenever you wanted to with no internet connection required, with no patches. The level of quality and what you were getting for your money is not even close to the same thing. It's not even comparable anymore, you know? It was 100% completed game. Exactly. Bulgarian stealing things sounds painful. Oh my God. All right, guys. Also, don't forget, like I said, I am working on renovating, revamping the website. I'm trying to get, again, more stuff on here, better merch, better things that you guys can actually support the channel through. I'm also going to be working on, my wife and I, we were talking, I'm trying to get her to commit to maybe one night a week for the podcast channel so we can actually do that like we intended back a couple of years ago when I started it. I haven't nailed down any time specifically because our kids have got all baseball and softball practices and all that shit starting up here. But that is the tentative plan. So, of course, I'm going to try to keep active links and all that kind of stuff on my website and everything else. So, inflation and sheet. Yeah, exactly. I'm so used to blaming Minimal. It didn't occur to me it could be me. Thought the stream went down. Oh my god. Yeah, no worries, wise ass duck, man. Dude, I don't want anybody spending money on anything they can't afford. Dude, I don't even care. Like, Smeg, anybody who donates memberships, gifts memberships and stuff, or super chats, like, it's great. It's awesome. I would rather I have videos that get hundreds of thousands of views that generate ad revenue from some mega corporation than take money out of your guys' pockets. 1,000%. That's how I feel about that. But, I'm not your boss. I'm not your mom. So, miss those days of gaming. We didn't have people online complaining about the games. We didn't care about the graphics. We just had fun. Yeah, but people have always been willing to share their opinions, man. The thing is, people have always had opinions. And somebody's always going to be offended by somebody else's opinion, dude. No, it's not T brand tea. It's my tea. Dude, like I said, I actually package this shit myself. Okay? I got to work on labels and package up some of it so I have some of it in a bag for you guys to see on there. But also I had rentals back then. All right, guys. I'm going to hit the hay. Oh, man. It's been a day. It's been a week. So yeah, we're just going to be watching how Marathon does on Twitter tomorrow. Probably tune into some live streams, check out some people covering it and all that. I'm going to have to make a video tomorrow night because I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of drama around that. So we'll see. Industrial licensed kitchen. Dude, WSDA licensed facility. You're forgetting that I'm in the food industry. So my family's business, I have 2,000 square foot plus commercial building where I go to work every day. And it's a licensed facility. So none of this drop shipping crap and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. No, dude, part of the reason I'm balding, supposedly, is the fact that I've worn a hat my entire life because I grew up in the food industry between commercial bakeries and whatnot and stuff. So, all right, guys. Oh my God, I got to get some sleep. I'm so tired. My dog woke me up hacking at like 6:30 this morning and I went to sleep at like 1. Oh, I'm so beat. All right, guys, like I said, stick around if you're going to be up. We're going to go raid Empress's stream. And otherwise, you guys have all been awesome. It's been a fun stream. Really good one. And the internet didn't crap out. It's been amazing. You guys are awesome, but I got to go. Your cat let you sleep in? Yeah, the cat sleeps on the corner of the bed. Guys, I'm not kidding. I wake up half the time in the morning and the dog and the cat have wedged my legs together where I can't move. Okay, it's awful. Okay. Oh, you guys have been great. Have a good one.